Don't think we're going to be doing won't be doing TikTok this morning because the virtual camera won't work. Well, afternoon now, rather. That's TikTok out the way. Right, so I think we're live everywhere else anyway. To do Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Yeah, we're good on all, I think. UDMA, you'll see in a moment, issues everywhere. This is an issue that's been going on for a while, like on and off. I've obviously made my own cables, as you can see. We're still not getting consistent results. So mechanical drives, SSDs, StarTech, generic, original, brand new, every combination of, and we still get UDMA issues. So you'll see what's going on. This is a maxed out drive with every game ever released and every emulator ever released. So it's like this is a ridiculously overloaded hard drive. Maybe that's the issue we have, but we shall see what's going on. I need to get to the bottom of this because we've got about 12 of these in now. So every day we've been getting more orders for them, and I'm like, what the hell is going on with the Xbox scene at the minute? So we've got 4 Prestiges and 8 send-ins all for this work. So it's time I figure what the hell's going on with this first. UDMA is just a speed of interface on the IDE. So I don't know what it stands for. Universal Data something it'll be. But basically it's the way that these IDE drives talk to each other. And because the original hard drives were slow, called UDMA 2, volume's gone. Are we back? Volume's on there. Let me check. YouTube. Unmute myself. I don't know how to check myself, really. Anybody else got volume issues, or can people hear me? I suppose I'll have to load it up on my phone once. Let me just double check. Oh yeah, so YouTube's fine. Must be your end for the volume. Cool. Yeah, so basically UDMA is just the speed that this drive and the original hard drive talk to each other. When you upgrade it to modern SATA drives, you put a adapter. So this takes your SATA, converts it to IDE, and then a modern BIOS, like a BIOS, can then drive the speeds of the IDE faster or slower. But it's easier to show the issue than talk it through, and we'll figure this out together because there's definite issues on here, and I don't know whether it's going to be the drive being. It might be simply the fact the drive has got so much on it. It's a completely maxed out full library. So I've got some suspicion it's just the fact that this is maxed out, a 4 terabyte hard drive with everything. That's me suspicion. But let's just get this thing powered up. So you've got to remember this is mains voltage here, because I will forget. I've got the minute we have I don't know how to pronounce them, and you probably can't see it from there at the minute. The I genuinely can't even. I'm going to fudge the name if I try and remember it. Xiaomo or something like that called, but basically it's just a Raspberry Pi with some software on to emulate, and you can put Prometheus on here, which is what I've done. So we can load it up over Ethernet. This is my custom-made IDE connector with dual insulated. This is effectively like an 80-pin ribbon, because IDE is only 40-pin, but every other pin is ground. So it isolates all the signals. So this is the best possible quality ribbon you can get. Everything's brand new. That didn't solve the issue yet. And then on here we have a StarTech adapter. I've got about 20 of these we've tried throughout the time. I've got generic ones which are somewhere. Probably put them back. Let me see. Yeah, I've got them in here. So you can imagine every kind of combination. We've got generic IDEs. We've got brand new. This is just my attempt at looking like what we might end up making it when we come to produce it properly. Some kind of fabric. These are brand new ribbons I've made. So the PCB with an IDE connector on. brand new flexible ribbons. So this is all, it's not like a low quality ribbon, you know for a fact this is then going to be high quality. So we've got that. I've got original patter cables as well. That doesn't change it. So let's just power this thing on and show you what's going on first. And we're going to play with the BIOSes maybe. Might have to make another drive just to insulate that. And let's see if I can actually figure out consistently what's going on here, because there's a suspicion that the DVD drives are still the old IDE, and if this hard drive's running on a fast IDE, the DVD drive will trip out and pollute the IDE. So we might do a DVD delete mod on it to then test the drive without the disk drive. There's loads we've got to do basically. Disk drive, I've tried all three. I've got every version going. So trust me, I've tried everything possible with this. So we've got every version drive, Samsung's, Thompson's, got another drive, got like 3 different Samsungs at Thompson. Got everything imaginable. There's no combination whatsoever that fixes this. That's why we're doing this video, I guess. I need to actually try and find out what's causing this problem. Now that's on. Composite is that one. This is going to look terrible because it's composite, but turn on, and I presume we'll get. So we've got Prometheus there. Ignore the colours. This is composite, so they're going to be all screwed up or random. Samsung don't work with StarTech. Yeah, I've got the Thompson one, and I don't think that works either. But we shall see. So this is loading UDMA 2, which is the slowest. So in theory, it should be the most stable. This will then take quite a while to load because, again, maxed out hard drive. Twitch. Oh, we've got 0. I've got internet, but yeah, there's no. I think we've dropped signal to somewhere. Let me see if having fun this morning. Let me check me on YouTube, see if anybody's even here. Me. Yeah, I'm live on YouTube, which is weird because the bottom of the video doesn't show. Yeah, the bottom of the video shows that I've got 0. Let me show you. What do we go on? Oh, this camera. Yeah, so I have 0 upload apparently. We're not even uploading and streaming. So see that? Nothing. And yet we're streaming. So I've got a feeling that's Twitch has bombed out. I've got myself playing on my own phone. What was that? Get rid of that. But the problem is, let me check. Output settings. Encode it. Yeah, the problem is YouTube's encoded off of Twitch, so I can't stop to make Twitch work again. That kind of sucks. Yeah, it does suck. So we can't. I don't think we can get Twitch back up basically without killing YouTube, and I don't really like cycling the lives because then nobody joins back. It kind of kills it. What do we think? This has now become a YouTube and Facebook only. So TikTok isn't working. Twitch has dropped. So sorry, it's a YouTube stream. I'm not in the mood for fixing things today, other than this Xbox. So we've got this now with, like I say, every game ever released on the Xbox. So this is a ridiculous setup. That's why we sell it. And this will take a little while to load the games because you're loading a lot of games. So you can see there won't be a game on here that was ever released that isn't on. So you name it, it's on here. Going that fast, I haven't even loaded the thumbnails yet. There's a lot of games with S. And this takes me like, there we go, back around. This takes me 2.5 days to clone this hard drive every time. But yeah, anything on here you want is on. Let's just try random game. Is that Elvis? What the hell? What games are? Let's max that out. There. Yeah, look at composite, how bad composite. Oh no, Zapper. Remember Zapper. Load that in. This is the BIOS we're loading at the minute, but I want to try other BIOSes as well because I'm wondering whether BIOS is the issue. You can see this is working though consistently, but I've currently got a shorter ID cable in than actually fits in. So this all looks good, but you'll see the problem with this is, let me turn off because this is a mechanical hard drive, so you don't want to move this while it's turned on because the heads will clash. So now it's off. The reason this is working, you'll see, I've put a short ribbon here. So this ribbon isn't long enough to get over to where we need to be. But if we put this ribbon back in, which I might as well show you because this is the whole point, show you the problem we're having. The fact that the shorter ribbon in UDMA 2 solves it kind of hints that the issue is definitely UDMA speed in one way. So let's get that out. And what I'll do now is I'll swap. I'm not going to keep disconnecting. I don't know which way around do it because it's a pain, this, as you see. So I'll do this once and once only, and then we'll get on to trying to figure it out. I don't want to have to keep changing this ribbon because it takes forever and it hurts your fingers. So we've got short ribbon, but this ribbon isn't long enough to get over to here. There's a way I might be able to make it work, but if we now just swap these ribbons out carefully, because I'm great at breaking these, even though they're brand new. I don't like these connector clippy things. There we go, pulled it straight out again. Yeah, I like, I pull those black connectors out so easy. But luckily if one clip's on, the fine. Right, so we'll swap that out now for what is meant to be the larger one. BIOS, this is the latest BIOS, yeah. Well, I've got all of them. I've got, let's have a look. Engineers. Trust me, I've tried everything to fix these. So we've got BIOS 3.1.0 beta. I've got the starter. I can show you anyway. Oh, you can't see that. So we've got, I've got the StarTech one, the UDMA 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6. I've tried all of them with the hard drive and DVD. We've got the MISC, which I've tried the 2.4.2 beta, the 2.4.2 loaded straight without Prometheus, the StarTech adapter of the 2.4.2. I've tried absolutely every possible combination. I've tried without Prometheus. I've tried BIOS on an Aladdin chip. Nothing gets these things working. Absolutely nothing. I want to get to the top of this, but I am just suspecting. My best guess at the minute is the DVD drive is always going to be running on UDMA 2. The DVD drive can't run any faster. So what's going to happen when the BIOS floods the IDE channel with like UDMA 4 speeds is the DVD drive is going to see signals it can't process. It might glitch and then interfere because they're on the physical same pins. They pass through. So that's just how IDE is. So there's going to be, I think the DVD drive will interfere with the hard drive. So I set it to UDMA 2 for that reason, so that, again, in theory, let me just get this the right way. The hard drive will be running at a speed that the original DVD drive should be able to understand. So that should eliminate the UDMA issue. And you've seen it does there. We've loaded the hard drive, But then if you just simply put the original cable back in like that, well, the length of cable that's needed, so this length, it then doesn't work again. So we're in a kind of dilemma because we sell these all the time, and this is becoming too much of a regular issue. We're seeing that I need to figure out. I thought I'd figured it out by making these. So I haven't released or sold these yet because they didn't fix the issue fully. So that's where we're at. So now this is exactly the same setup, longer ribbon, which is only longer in the sense that it's the correct size now. Otherwise, we can't install the hard drive very easily. Plug the DVD drive back in. And then, well, it doesn't matter where the actual hard drive lives for the minute. We don't need to fully assemble this, we just need to plug it in. So that's the only difference. I can just overclock it. Overclock, what are we overclocking? The CPU or something, maybe. I don't think the CPU is going to solve the problem with it, if it is the disk drive. Right then, so that on there, no change. You've seen this working, and now you get to experience the fun of what I get to see. This will probably work once, maybe twice, but this will now be inconsistent or not boot. Or, as is the streaming way, this will probably work flawless every time now. The only thing I haven't done now, I haven't done the DVD delete yet. That's my next thought, to prove, effectively remove the need for this drive. Because the other thing I discovered after doing hundreds of these things is I used to try and boot these with just a hard drive. There you go, Prometheus is stuck, so it's already broke. I used to try and boot them without disk drives, and sometimes it'd work, sometimes it wouldn't, and it took me forever to realise that if you don't put a DVD drive in, the fact the drive isn't there can intermittently stop it booting, so you have to boot with the drive. But there is, oh, there we go, it's maybe going to load. No, see, so this is, all we've changed is a longer cable, and the cable is now just the original length it was before. And here is the issue. This is the problem we've got. So this is what I need to figure out. And like I say, I've pretty much tried everything. Is Xbox with money? Oh, hell yeah. This is literally the most popular console we do. Zach hates them because of this issue. Like the absolute inconsistency with, he knows every time he builds one of these, something's going to go wrong. So yeah, there we go. That's that. So let me, what am I going to do? If I remove the drive, I think we can get into Prometheus. Then I can cancel the boot. I'm going to try and flash this over the network with the DVD. I need to remember to cancel out of this boot if it's going to try. Yeah, cancel. There we go. I'm going to now, thanks to Prometheus, I can just connect to an Ethernet cable, get my IP address, and I can now connect on the PC and replace this BIOS. So this is the cool thing, no manual BIOS flashing. So if I just go to over here, 192.168.1.41, and now that's the Xbox. If I swap to my PC, look how cool this is. So PC, there's the Prometheus, actual Xbox, PC. So I can now just flash BIOS, choose a file, and let's go to the no DVD drive. Let's go to StarTech for the sake of it, and let's make it white, and then upload that. And that now is going to flash the new BIOS, and already done, I believe. So if we go back to Xbox, launch, there's the new, there's a point, maybe I should have deleted these first. I'm going to presume the new one's at the top, but we've got one at the top, one at the bottom. So let me go back to the PC. Let's remove the BIOSes. Remove, back. And then go back to the Xbox, back. There we go. So there's none in now. Back to the PC. Flash the BIOS, choose a BIOS. With the no DVD drive, StarTech white upload. Right, so now, simple as that. Done. I keep thinking it's going to take longer than that. I said waiting. Right, so launch now. There's no drive, no hard drive. So let me turn off. Plug in the hard drive. So this has still got the longer cable that failed boot last time. The DVD, now it's deleted from the BIOS. It should boot now. I'm going to presume by not having the DVD drive even connected. If so, my solution for this is when we sell it with a maxed out 4TB hard drive with every game ever released, is the DVD drive is not going to be connected. The point of that is I've tried every possible combination to get this to work with both, and I never have got it to work yet. So if this works without the DVD drive and you've got every game ever made, why do you need the DVD drive? That's kind of the thought. So it'd just be a blank drive. Whereas if this doesn't work, yeah, see, so it's even hanging Prometheus. It doesn't, like, with the long cable, even Prometheus doesn't work. So maybe we're going to have to flash that SBIOS without Prometheus at all so that SBIOS can kick straight in. Which does mean I need a USB cable on there to do that. RPM is this specific hard drive. I've done SSDs so the spindle rate wouldn't matter. But this one is a Skyhawk 4TB. You'd have to search it up on Amazon. You'll find them on Amazon. Skyhawk Seagate 4TB. But like I say, I've tried multiple hard drives, so it won't be that. Like that wouldn't be. Yes, that's made no difference with. Well, the problem is the Prometheus now. I wonder if Prometheus has an option to disable the DVD drive as well. Change your BIOS for the DVD drive setup, because by default the BIOSes will expect a DVD drive and won't boot without it connected. So you can mod the BIOS to explicitly ignore that. Right, let's have a look. Storage. Oh yeah, actually there is an option in here somewhere. Hard drive model isn't connected. Audio is obviously nothing. Video is nothing. Settings, AV. Nothing in there. Region. I think I've played with the region before and that didn't help. Prometheus, general options, boot options, audio, video, LCD, LED, MISC, fancy. There we go. So, so they set up to hard drive and no DVD. Modern. Dual hard drive and DVD. Let's try hard drive and no DVD modern. So Prometheus has its own thing. So firstly, we need to try and get Prometheus to actually boot, I guess, with the, because even Prometheus doesn't boot when this is on. So we've got even more problems than we originally started with, to be honest. We've gone backwards. But yeah, I do need to figure this out. We need to, I honestly don't know where I'm going to go with it though. That's like, I've tried everything I currently know possible to get this to work. I'm at the point of dropping Prometheus and going to the SBIOS with no Prometheus involved at all. Or maybe it's that ModShow chip that we've started doing. I've tried the 80-pin ATA cables. I've tried all those things. I can try it again, but the problem with them is once you plug them in once, they break coming out half the time. Let me get. In fact, have we even got one left now? I think we sent the last one to the last customer. Yeah, I think the last one has been used up the other day. Oh no, I've got one more here. So, I mean, you can also try the irony here is, and actually, I remember this now. There is no such thing as such as an 80-pin cable. So this thing isn't an 80-pin cable, right? So yeah, there's 80 cores there, which I suppose, and I know this because I made the cable, and that's what confused me. So where are we? Well, that's right. So 80 pins along here. Yeah, there's 40 pins there. These go nowhere. Every other pin goes nowhere. Does nothing. So all this 80 pin does is put a floating wire in between the two wires, which does absolutely nothing. Doesn't insulate, doesn't do a thing. It's not grounded at the other end. The only reason these work for people is they're slightly newer, and there's maybe a slight gain in the physical gap between the two. But a floating end trace is not, it's not doing anything. It's as if it's not there. Electrically, it won't do anything. So you could tear off every other pin in here and just physically have a wider gap. So there isn't an 80 pin cable in a sense. There's 40 pin. It's got 40 pins, but the gap might be slightly smaller. So let's try a 40 pin and then try an 80 pin. There is no real difference or reason why it would work much different either way. And that kind of hints at why the fact that people were originally saying as well that, oh, they won't work unless you get an 80 pin, hinted at the point that people clearly know this is an issue. So there is, in fact, let me just disconnect the drive. We're going to try and get this thing booting without the drive for the minute anyway. There is an obvious kind of known issue in some way with booting modern hard drives off the Xbox original, because people have had to get, I hate taking these out, people have had to get these 80 pin IDEs to try to get them to work and stuff, and messing with all this stuff. Like, I was on the verge of making one of these and actually scoping out the IDE interface and stuff, but it's not something I want to be doing. Right, start with complete stock. And which way around? That way. So this will go in here. And now this will go into SATA. I love as well how the StarTech have nothing stopping you plugging this thing in backwards, and you have to remember every time which way this connector goes in. I've just done it that many times now, I remember it's upright. But so many ID connectors, like the Amiga. Just, yeah, no indicator which direction it goes, just leave that up to the user to guess. Right, so completely stock 40 pin. In we go. Turn on and see where we get with this. And this will probably get to Prometheus, I'm going to guess. Yep, shocker. So see what I mean? There's not a requirement for 80 pin. So let's now try launching this bank, which has got the DVD drive delete without a DVD drive in. Oh, there you go. So now we're getting the UDMA. So this is now, apparently, this cable, this is the whole point. Oh, this cable is stopping that from booting. It won't be that because this doesn't work, an 80 pin. So there's, I don't know. I think it's, I've not been involved in, I've not like looked at the source code to the BIOSes or got too involved in how all of this works at a low level. Otherwise, I could offer more opinion. I can't really offer too much opinion because I haven't dug that deep into the software side, which I don't really want to. But if I have to, I will. So let's remove the BIOS on the PC side. Remove that one now, and let's go back to my afternoon. Let's stick with the no DVD. The only thing that I haven't got the no DVD modern. I've only got MISC, which doesn't help. We can roll our own as well. I've got the SBIOS tool to edit our own BIOS, but I don't want to have to go that far either. So no drive, UDMA 2 now. Forget the StarTech. Let's go blue this time, upload. And that colour, by the way, that you choose is just the light here. So see this light going green here on my hand? You kind of, there's the green. So if I can launch from here now. If I show you that, watch my hand colour. And I launch that, it should go blue this time. So that LED colour is not the front LED, it's referring to the inbuilt LED. So now, remember, original cable, still 13. So original cable is the worst. And again, not necessarily because it's 40 pin. They are all 40 pin. This is just, well, this could also be the fact we've got that no DVD thing. And let's do a like-for-like comparison first. To be fair, we've got the original BIOS on we had at the start of this video. Let's put the drive back in, even though we've got the DVD delete thing on there. We might even flash it back with that original BIOS, just to prove first the cable is the only difference, because we're mixing things around here. So this is now not technically the same BIOS exactly. We've got the no DVD BIOS added, but we'll soon swap that back if we need to. And then we'll be down to the only difference being that ribbon. So now launch UDMA 2. So this is what worked with my cable. So if this works then, no, so that still doesn't work. So now put this back to the actual exact BIOS we had at the start of this video. So we will give this a second to load. Remove BIOS. There we go, remove that, go back, flash BIOS, browse, go up, and now I'm going to flash it with the exact one that was on, which is this one. This was at the start of the vid. Go back to the Xbox, boot. Now this is like for like at the start, original cable versus mine, that's it, that's the only difference. If this fails, we know the cable is worse. So there we go. So original cable is definitely worse. That's a fact now. That's the only difference. So now let's go and change this to, I really don't want to use this because I've only got one left. And these are fragile as all hell. And if you pull them apart, they, like when you're just unplugging them, they break. But that's why we're here, so let's try that. Stellar mod was okay, but the problem I had with Stellar is 1, the price is insane, 2, the stock was bad, and 3, the problem we always had is removing the AV port and then trying to get Project Stellar to boot. If that didn't work, you got no AV output without hard wiring wires too. Prometheus, the Stellar did not boot on many Xboxes we did. Hot swapping them with other mod chips made it boot straight away. So when we were using them, there were some serious inconsistencies in boot behavior, so we scrapped them and went to the mod show, as it's called. I don't know how you pronounce it. But since going to this, I don't know whether this is the problem, which we'll do in a minute. We'll put an Aladdin mod chip on with Evo X or something. I just need to find out where the hell this has gone wrong, because we've sold so many of these, and all of a sudden we've now got nothing but problems with them not booting consistently. Like, they'll go out working, and we've had this one built up. This was about to go out, and it was working. And then the next day, we always leave it today, come back, turn it on in the morning, and wouldn't boot again, got the UDMA issue. So we're just seeing inconsistencies that I don't like, and I need to find out. Like, I need a solid, definitive, guaranteed answer to what is causing this. So I want to see it working, and then I want to see it failing, and I want to be able to repeat the exact failure. Try not to plug a DVD drive in when the Xbox is mid-boot. It doesn't like it. Let's try that again. You're watching, I'll screw the Xbox doing that. Right, so now this is identical setup again, but with the 80 PATA cable. And launch this. So if this works, then this is behaving better than my brand new cable. But yes, that's now booted at the minute. Will that be consistent? Well, I say that. My cable with these being shorter, this one works fine. But with my slightly longer one, this one, it doesn't boot. So that's the dilemma we've got. So it could be that we need a length in between. I can't even get this on camera. We probably need something where this one, the shorty, has that length, and this one, the longy, is twice as length. But I could guarantee this PATA cable here will be in between. It won't be quite this long. So it's a length, you know, a cable length problem. But let's now try and boot. Yeah, that won't auto boot. I'll now try and boot the UDMA at normal speeds, which is the whole point of doing this. And this is where I'm almost guarantee even that will fail. So let's remove the other BIOS. Flash. I'm not going to keep showing you the screen just for flashing a BIOS. You know what's going on. I'm going to now flash the. Let's do StarTech because that never booted. I'm going to change the light to red, and then we should see this light then go red to know it's loaded. And now this is StarTech, which is not booted on. I don't think that's booted on anything yet. So if this boots, that's booting, I think, as well. There we go. Interesting. So this like old school 80-pin PATA is so far working on StarTech. So let's try now on. Let's go UDMA 4 then. Let's actually prove it's running at a certain speed. In which case it means that the space in the wires is helping. The length of the wire is very critical, which this should, I know this is long, but this shouldn't be too long for a signal. But what it might mean is if we go a long trace, we might need some termination resistors for reflection and things. These have just got straight through wire. There's no resistors to stop reflections and bouncing. And the fact if we just shorten my ribbon to this, it also works. So we're getting somewhere. There's something now. So let's remove that BIOS. Flash then. I'm going to go UDMA 4. We'll go to green and upload that. And then launch this. So now if this works, we are almost definitely just dealing with purely, in one way, a cable issue. Yes, that's booted. Interesting. Well, I say it's booted. Let's see. Yeah. Right, so now let's prove if I put my cable in, it breaks again, that we just don't have this strange anomaly where things just start working, which is what I've seen. This is why I say with this, it's never just a guarantee. Oh, and this is going to break coming out. I can never get these IDs out without breaking the buggers because they're wedged in and you can't grab them on. You can't pull them on the ribbon because they basically break. So this is why I hate putting these in and out. I'd almost want to just leave this now and send it because getting that out is such a pain. There's got to be, well, it's going to be signal noise. Let me turn on this aircon. Roasting. Shut the door. It's better. So if this works now, or if this rather doesn't work with mine, we are definitely dealing with signal integrity. That's like the guaranteed take home at that point. What we're dealing with then is the quality of the signal running down these circuits and the way that this specific cable handles that. So that will be copper thickness, copper spacing. There's no resistors in these, so there's that. There's also a potential that you can see the difference here. If we get my cable, for example, here's the original and here's mine. So first run, mine is slightly longer. So you can see the very first run already is slightly longer. But then, and the reason I made them bigger is because this is an absolute pain to fit in because it's not quite long enough. But then if we take the second run, the long run, and compare that to my cable is that a little bit longer. So again, not massive, but a little bit longer. So there's the length difference, plus mine is actually, this is an actual grounded cable. So unlike these, where the pins are just floating, so they literally don't go anywhere, the in-between pins don't ground anything. On this cable, on the PCB I've made, every other pin in there does ground. So this is truly grounded. This should be better. And it probably is, but we're just dealing with cable length and reflection issues, I think, here. Yeah, the 80 pins I break all the time. I'm just wondering if I've got one of my other older ribbons, because I've made this ribbon in 2 versions. I'm hoping, yes. So here is the other ribbon that I wanted to make. So I made this originally, much nicer looking, looks just like the original. Then what I did was made this 40 pin, because there is only 40 pins on the connector, and I was assured it was just a quality thing with, oh, that's got quite a harsh scratch on this one. You know, the ID isn't 80 pins, so I didn't bother putting any grounding in. And I looked at this cable, and you can see that the ends don't go anywhere. So by that, if you're wondering what I mean, if I show you, so there's the cable, it's just crimped in. So this pushes down, pushes pins through and makes really shit contact to them, right? And then the ribbon here, see all them dots? So every other pin there isn't connected, or every pin will be crimped twice. So unless, I don't want to break this one because it's my last one, unless every other pin, no, it can't because they're physically there. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So no, they are just basically floating pins in between every other pin. Or they're just simply doubled up pins, so it's 2 physical traces per pin. So it shouldn't make any difference, but they made these for a reason. At some point they made the 80 pins for a reason. So there's that. So anyway, what I was saying is I made my cable 40 pin because what's the point in the floating wires? They do nothing. So I made this version. This one did work though. And once I realised it worked, I was like, oh right, we'll make them in production then. But I better put 80 pin on, because you could guarantee if I release this to the public in the Xbox scene, and I said it's a brand new cable, it's the best, and people saw 40 pin, and they know from just history that, oh, you need an 80 pin for this stuff to work, even though I know you don't and you shouldn't, I think this would have got a bad rep. So then I thought, well, okay, let's just make it 80 pin then, put the ground wires in between, and you can't get an 80 pin flat ribbon FPC, so I just put 2 40s in, did this style. So let me just prove my old cable. Let's see if this works. And this is, I believe, the exact same length as my long one. Yeah, so no difference in length. Okay, so they're both just as long. So let's now see if long OG cable made by me works the same as the other 80 pin. If so, I guess we've got another solution, but another mystery. But I'll be happy for a solution at this point. Otherwise, we're going to have to scope. I don't even know what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to get a logic analyzer with 40 pins on and scope what's going on and look for. In fact, you can't even do a logic analyzer because you need to look for noise. We'd have to do an oscilloscope and just probe random channels and look for reflections and things. So no way forward after this is fun. Basically, that's why I kind of want to solve it. So this is now same setup again. I think we're on UDMA 4 here, weren't we? So let's see. Oh, wicked. This is now 3 flashing boots dead. Have I plugged something in upside down? Right, that's in the right way. That's in the right way. That's in the right way. Let's turn it on with just the drive. Oh no. Let's hope it's just... this cable might be faulty. That might be why it's in the bin. Right, so, yes. It's either faulty or something's in backwards here. I thought then we'd broken everything. That's over the black end. That's over the black end. Yeah, I think this has just got... Maintenance room 14 pin, adds ground. But yeah, it doesn't add grounds, that's the thing. But yeah, it adds floating wires, not grounds. Mine adds grounds. This thing I made had ground. This is now what does it. But no, This thing doesn't add ground. There's no connection to ground. It adds floating wires. That's why you can't trust Google. Right, let me see if I can fix this poor cable from not working to actually working, because this is the only one of my this style cable I've got left, and this is making the entire console just die. Right, so that's still working. Turn off. Now I'm just hoping one of the pins was maybe slightly slanted on this, because the thing is, I only made like 10 or 20 of these and used them all. Right, good. We're still all connected so far. Now plug into here. You know what? Why do I have a feeling this had the thing backwards? I think when I made this batch, this connector was backwards, and you have to plug it in the StarTech upside down. No. There goes that theory. Okay, I'll plug it back in the StarTech. I can remember this is why it's in the tub. I know there was something wrong with this specific cable, but let's see. Yeah, screws up. I'm going to plug it in backwards. I know I really shouldn't, but why do I want to? Why do I feel like I've got a vague memory of this adapter for some strange reason being backwards? That goes in there. That comes out of there. That would go down. Yes, there we go. So if I follow them all the way to the end in the same order, we end up with this one being this way up, this one being this way up. So at some point I made one of these cables backwards, so this thing can go in upside down on the StarTech, just to confuse things even more. Right then. So now plug that back in, and now this hopefully, yay, does this boot. If it does, it means doing the 80-pin thing makes it worse. You watch this will boot now, and it means I would have solved it all along with this, and because I was worried about what people would think, I decided to make this, and this is the problem. No, there you go. So UDMA 13 error. So now this cable has 13, this one doesn't, and the only difference at this point is really the length or the isolation. So we are definitely dealing with a cable issue then. Oh, that's annoying. Where else do we go? I mean, the reason I made these cables is because these things now are like £20 and they're old and they don't get made anymore. And I was going to have the factory make me exactly these, but why wouldn't this work? This is like better. And it would work. I can almost guarantee it would work if I made mine exactly the same length as this. And is that just because of... I know why it works. Because engineers are a bit smarter than me. Fold it in half. It's exactly half the width. So therefore, when you get reflections, the width is exactly half. So it's going to fall on the half cycle of the data. There's the magic. That needs to be exactly half. And let me guess, mine isn't exactly half. Or if it is, then mine's just longer. Let's get mine out again. But this is... I think we could fix it with reflection or termination resistors, as they're properly called, or a better connector, or even a different adapter. I don't know. I'm completely guessing at this point for a good solution. All we know so far is the 80-pin OG cable. Yeah, mine's not far off half, but it isn't quite half. So that little difference there can make all the difference. Let me see, folding it properly. Oh no, so mine is exactly half. So I did at least think of something. Mine's exactly half, but longer. yeah, so I can guarantee if you've got two of these as well, if you've got two of these ones, more than one, just take two more short ribbons like I've done off one of the others and just take the long section out and connect up the short section like I'm going to do now. So just take out one long section like that and get a short section, and then you'll have a cable with two short sections, and I bet it'll work again. So the difference isn't then necessarily in the cable, just the cable, it's partly to do with the length as well. But all it is pretty much telling us we're just getting like signal noise and reflections on the line. That's kind of what this is telling us anyway. We know almost definitely the problem. I'm just trying to think what the best solution to this is, because we do need a solution to replace these, because you can't keep going with these. The amount we do, we won't have these that are going, so we need a solution. So now, if you make this now, you should see works. Now, I don't know whether it's going to work on UDMA 4. Hopefully it should. But let's try it now. And then, I don't know where we go after that, but let's prove it first. That in there, power up. And it might just be one signal as well. Like, all this happening might just be a single signal on IDE corrupting it, and we could maybe just add one reflection resistor on. So, you know, it might be a simple mod to this that gets it working. It might be changing the adapter gets it working. Just because one cable works and the others don't, it might not necessarily be the cable directly. It might just be the combination works. Basically, they all work together. So now this is my twin ribbony thing, but with two short ends. So this should work. Like, there's no reason this shouldn't work now. Otherwise, what used to work for me no longer works. But I don't think I've ever tested it on UDMA 4. Yep, there you go. So, only difference now is shorter cable on mine, and now this boots. So, that's it. We are down to OG cables don't work. These work, even though they're slightly longer. They're just not as long as mine. My 40 pin doesn't work, but again, it's long. So I bet if I had another 40 pin to do two shorts, this would work, which I could do with proving. Let me see if I can find a short 40 pin, and then we can prove that the 80 pin doesn't matter. So we can prove if this short works, but then this doesn't work long, but a short one of this works, that we don't need the isolation, it's purely cable length. But then it still leaves the question, why doesn't the original 40 pin work if my 40 pin works when it's short? That would be the other question. Let's see. Let's load that game up and I'll see if I can find that. I don't know whether I've got another flat ribbon. I don't think I'm going to have one. I think I've got literally one cable left, which is annoying. Is that game already? few more theories as well, actually. Okay, maybe. Right, so I don't have another cable to test on, but what I do have is, let's do some more tests. We've got double short cable working. So what do we need to do? We want to get it failing again. Oh yeah, the spikes on them are crazy. Let's get this back to failing then, because the reason you can't use a shorter cable is you can't fit the hard drive in here without making... My other idea was to make a custom 3D mount in here so you can fit it in, but instead what I want to do is take all this out again, and I'm going to put a long cable back in, and I'm going to try and get it working by swapping out the DVD drive, the hard drive, the SATA connector. So these are the two good known working ones. Short, mine, original 80 pin. Keep them over there. This doesn't work, this doesn't work. Out you go. Original doesn't work. Right then. Now I need another cable. I need a long one of mine. And then what we're doing by this, I reckon, hey, welcome in, is if we can get this working with different setups now, with the long cable, in one way then we're proving it's not strictly just a noisy signal. We're proving that it's a combination of things and maybe poor timings on the BIOS or, you know, other variations. Whereas if we can't get it working for any reason with the long ribbon, we're almost guaranteeing it is purely a signal integrity issue. But we'll see. Let's see where we get. Same drive, same everything. Back to long. Sanity check first that this still doesn't work. So this is the setup that never works. Longer ribbons. Ow. I'm gonna have no fingers left after this. That goes in there. Yeah, power, I think. So confusing, so much stuff going on. This should now... This prevented... We've got nothing on screen. This prevented Prometheus from booting before. But why are we not even seeing Prometheus? Is this... Is that just a glitch, or shall we take that out and prove this should at least boot then to Prometheus like this? Or has my Elgato decided to poop out on me? Because that's the other thing you have to be careful of. Yeah, you can't trust the... I think the Elgato's decided to get involved and stop showing signal. Right, so now we can trust it again. Can we? That's saying there's no signal. Why have we got no signal? I don't trust that Elgato. Let me turn on my CRT. Okay, yeah, no signal. Oh, hang on, what was that? Maybe that was something then. Nope, no signal. Wicked. So now let's take out... I don't recall it not giving me no signal before. Let's take out the DVD drive. Right, nothing's connected. You watch, now I'll have just a completely dead Xbox for no reason. Yay, dead Xbox. What's gone on? Where's my video signal? Give me back, you stupid Xbox. Let's take this out completely. Alright. See, this is why you do sanity checks with these, because nothing's changed. Okay, so just plugging this in as, I know why. I'd left that connected that end. So yeah, I think that was the issue we got to. Which, in fact, yeah, so plugging in the long cable of ours doesn't even get Prometheus booting. That was where we got to. I forgot about that. Even just having it connected to the StarTech adapter is enough to stop the whole system working. So it's not even at that point. Ow, that's spiky. It's not even at that point a BIOS issue. It's literally an entire system IDE doesn't work. So this is now long cable, just connected to the DVD drive with floating end. This should get us into Prometheus. Oh, wicked. That now doesn't even boot. This is fun. So now, take that out. Now turn on. Oh, yay, now system. Yeah, this cable it does not like. We literally have fragged Xbox at the moment. Let's get him out. Try again. You watch your state. I know that. So, oh, yeah, totally fragged Xbox. I knew that was going to happen at some point. So there goes that test. So now we've got completely fragged Xbox. Let's see. Yep, totally dead Xbox. Or is maybe this wire just come off? Nope. Yep, so there we go. The worst possible error you can get on an Xbox. Just 3 flashing lights and dead now. That will not boot without a BIOS, obviously. Put the BIOS back on. Turn off. Wait a minute. Yep, dead Xbox. Wicked. So just plugging a long cable in is now enough to completely kill that Xbox. Let's leave it powered off a bit, see if that magically resolves itself. And then the only place we got to, really, unplug power. All we really proved is we could successfully boot with a shorter ribbon or that ribbon, which is somewhere to something, but now my poor Xbox is dead. So all we did was plug in this connector with this IDE. Everything was in the right way. Let's prove that that is the right way as well. So we have, I had a suspicion, like I say, I kept saying that's going to happen. I've seen it so many times. So this is same way all the way down, same way down, which is, oh wait, no, this has been flipped around. Has it? Well, it has and it hasn't. That's in at the top, whereas that's in at the bottom, which doesn't matter so much. And that comes out the bottom and goes straight to there. So that comes out the bottom, goes straight to there. And no, they're all in the same way. So there's no difference there. This is why I also need to, I really need to make something that taps on the I2C line. There you go, now magically working again. I love Xboxes. Right, so do we go back to trying to prove this? Why not? Let's keep going. It's like having a heart attack and carrying on. Right, you turn off. So back to as if nothing ever happened. We didn't just nearly kill an Xbox and everything is all fine. You go back in. You go in. So that's how you fix the flashing 3 red lights. Just wait. Make a coffee and then everything's fine. Right, so now back to where we were. This is what bricked it a minute ago. I can guarantee now it won't brick it. Yay, see, so floating cable, everything will work. He says. Or is this where you get to black screen? That's weird. Why would you get black screen with floating cable? Maybe just because you've made a massive antenna on the IDE signals, maybe? Let's try and take out the floaty ribbons. There we go. So now, floaty ribbons out. Oop, press the wrong button. Never mind. Don't eject the DVD drive, please. Okay, so no screen with that. Probably just literally got it bad. A bad connector. What? Why? The hell's going on? Why have we got another mystery that wasn't there a minute ago? This is stupid. Right, the only difference with this one is that goes in there, that comes up to the middle. The only thing I've done different on this one is I've connected it to this side. It shouldn't make any difference, they're the same pins. Yeah, they're the same pins. There's technically no difference, but considering we've seen the difference, this should not make a difference. I'm going to swap these ribbons around. There's absolutely no reason on the face of this planet this should make any difference. If it does, it doesn't really help me because it doesn't make any sense. It's not going to really tell me anything. I just know this shouldn't make a difference. So this is just going to prove to me that I'm not going crazy. If this works going in here, then it is going to make me look crazy, because this is doing nothing other than moving a connector down to the exact same connector that it is above. This is just a repeating connector. It doesn't make any difference in the connection. Go in there. You can see why I've ignored doing this for so long, but it's got to be solved. It's got to be figured out. My new little shitty connector. Right, no difference at all electrically whatsoever. And you watch, this will work. Are you joking? What the hell? There's no difference. There is physically... I've moved the connector from the top to the bottom and it's a straight through wire. What the fuck? It's a straight through connector block, but pointing through the top and not the bottom. Xbox, what the hell? What the... Okay. Right, okay, I'm not even going to pretend I know what's going on there. That's that. So now let's put the long wire back in, ignoring everything I know about electronics, and just accept that that's how it is for now. Now let's put the long ribbon in. I cannot explain that, and I'm not going to even try. It's just going to, that's the way it is. I'm leaving it in the... You can try that on yours if you've got the long one. Just flip what goes into there, move to there. So flip these two around on either side and see if your cable magically works. If so, I have not got a clue. Like, genuinely not a clue. It's a straight through connector. I'd have to double check my PCB design because I'm 100% sure that is just a physical. I didn't do anything different. It's a straight through wire. I'm sure of it. Flashing with the ribbon if I use both. Flashing ribbon if I use long from motherboard to hard drive or short, same results. Stretch over. Yeah, it's nothing worse than that 3 flashing lights. I was about to just end the stream when mine was 3 flashing. I'm like, yeah, sod it. If that's dead, I'm done for today. Right, and so now back to floating wire, just in a different connector that makes zero difference. Yeah, of course you're going to work. Of course you are. And now I better plug this in the StarTech. You're going to continue to work. This is stupid. Makes no sense. Is the trace cut to mod it? What are we on about? Are you referring to just the mod chip on here? I just ground data 0 pin on the T-SOP with a wire to get it to forcefully always boot from the mod chip, if that's what you mean. We're back into the DVD drive. If this still boots, of course it does, we'll then connect back to the StarTech, and then I believe if we then try and boot off the disk drive, we should be back to the bit where we get the UDMA, I think is where we're back to then. And then that's where I want to try and solve it without swapping ribbons. I think. I've done so many things. Disk delete mod we tried with the that BIOS a minute ago. Yes, this is still all booting. So now, moment of truth. If everything is exactly the same as it was before, this should now not launch into SBIOS. And then, well, it should, but it should say UDMA. Well, I don't know at this point. I can just guarantee something's not going to work when we boot it into here. This is going to die. If it doesn't, we're back to where I started the video with everything identical and magically it works. There we go. So now, that's a different error altogether. Timing took too long to become ready. And then the other thing is here, right? So this is saying it can't read the hard drive, right? So that's SBIOS saying hard drive wouldn't respond. So watch this. This is another thing that'll be fun. Let's go bank management, flash bank. Oh, okay. That was melodramatic. That was normally going to load the hard drive. Now the hard drive doesn't load. I give up. Okay, ignore that. Turn on again, maybe. Because what I was going to say, Prometheus reads the hard drive as well. So when you go to flash the BIOS, it'll show the hard drive up. But now, that's not reading the hard drive. It's the hard drive, kippo. I don't want to have to swap all this stupid ribbon stuff again. But now it's not even reading hard drive, which doesn't help. Is this going to be one of them stupid things where it's backwards again? Would this matter if I put this in? Motherboard that way. That goes into there, which is at the bottom. See, and now this one's at the top. So we've actually got it different than this one. That makes it boot. And then this one goes up there. If I put that one in the bottom instead, this one will go in at the top. Right, yeah, so you can point in either way. That will be the same as that. That will go into there, which it did at the top. This one would come out, and that went in. Right, yeah, so that is exactly the same setup as we had at the start, whereas now it doesn't even see the hard drive. So there's your inconsistency. So now let's try a SSD. So no difference whatsoever, just an SSD. We have to find a consistency here. Right, and bank management, flash, wicked. I think either this cable I'm going to have to swap the cable again, aren't I? Something's weird with this cable. Let's try. Are we all connected? Good. All connected. All connected. I tell you what, let's also let's not even connect the DVD drive. Let's see if I can just get this hard drive actually appearing a minute before I try something else. But yeah, this is the thing, trying to lock this down when we're back to where we were at the start of the video, but have a different behavior now. We have no hard drive now. And nothing's changed. Like we've basically gone around in circles to end up back where we started. Yeah, and that's obviously, this will probably say there's no hard drive. So is the StarTech dead? Yeah, so now we've got no hard drive. So either this cable is just somehow not the same or dead. So let's go back now to original hard drive. Let's see if we can get this still fully working. Let's go back now to my original fully working setup. That doesn't help us massively because I was trying to prove how we got a longer cable working, and now the longer cable doesn't even load the hard drive whatsoever. So we need to now go and get back to a working state again before we step backwards to try and break it again. And this time I've plugged this in the opposite end, so now we've got the bottom one going to the drive as opposed to the top. So that proves that the other cable, swapping them around, made no difference, of course. And this is where I wanted to show you flashbang, and then see, loaded the hard drive. So it's enough to turn somebody crazy. So we know that works. We know this cable works. We know that being at the bottom or the top makes no difference. The other thing you can do as well, you can plug the hard drive into the, it doesn't matter which way it goes, you can put the hard drive in the first one like that, for example. And I did this originally as well to try and solve this problem. Yeah, you're probably about to say what I'm pretty much doing here, which is to put the hard drive first and the DVD drive second, and that helps because the hard drive's on the shorter run, and then the DVD drive's on the longer, which I've also tried before. And that's now going to fail to load, and there you go. Now it's loaded the drive. So again, that proves that both ends of the cable work, both ways around work, and whether you connect it to the front or the back all work. So to get this hard drive working, we should just have to connect the longer cable, ignoring the floating run as well. So this one that we can't get working, I should just be able to connect short end to the motherboard, like so, and I can connect the hard drive, for example, to this one, and it should work. And it's not. So let's prove it's still not. Or what we'll end up proving here is magically this works again for no reason, just plugging it back in. But if we can't get this consistently doing something, we're kind of screwed because we need it to fail and work consistently. So I'm presuming this won't now see the hard drive. Oh, look, now it's working. Nothing's changed. We've unplugged it, replugged it, now it's working. Well, I say that, the only difference is we haven't plugged it in the long end. So let's do that now. And then if so, my phone just rang. Yes, it has. 1 second, the missus is calling. Right, there we go. So long end no longer sees the hard drive, and should do. We're going to have to do this to prove this cable. We're going to have to put a short ribbon on here to prove that the long end and this connector work. But we don't have to. All I'm thinking is if we now try to get this working and it turns out that this bit's the problem, like physical, the end connector's the problem, we're not going to get anywhere. Oh yeah, I know, yeah. Trust me. You want to try doing it on the stream. How many times have we unplugged this? So now we know this hard drive doesn't load. Let's now take the StarTech adapter. And in fact, let's go on the StarTech adapter because if you can see on here, I'm surprised I haven't zapped myself on the main jet. We have a selector here, so you can also have master, slave. You can have auto cable detect, but then you've also got cable, which is like cable is. I don't know the difference between auto cable detect and cable, to be honest. But let's just try all 4 options for the sake of it, and let's see where we get. And now we'll stick with the long end for this either way. Can you flip the ribbon cable over on the StarTech? If you flip that upside down, it won't load because it's. I think I kind of don't want to do it just yet, just to prove it, but I'm pretty sure if you point the other way, it prevents the console booting completely. But there's chances you'll brick the console doing that, so I really don't want to try that at the minute. Right, so that didn't work. Let's try slave, even though the hard drive is definitely not slave. Let's do that anyway. Oh, thanks for the follow. And then I'm going to try these generic brand adapters. Then I'm going to try an SSD, even though we tried it. Nope, that fails. So I don't think any of these, which I didn't think would, are going to make it work. And the good thing here in one way is Prometheus doesn't find the hard drive, nor does SUBIOS. So that's, in my eyes, that's ruling out the BIOS as the potential issue. I think 2 independently developed things that read the hard drive off the Xbox not working is enough to probably rule that out. Right, so there we go. So that is definitely not loading on any cable setting when it's on the long run on the StarTech. So let's take the StarTech out, unplug that, and let's go to generic China specials. Let's see if these work. Come on, brain. How can I not plug this in? There we go. That is on there. This is then. See, China gives you sockets that can only possibly go in one way. Yet StarTech cheaped out and just put a stupid pin header on, not an IDE to save money. And yet they charge you 10 times more. A different adapter, that's the only difference. If this works, it means I could probably make my own adapter at this point to get this thing working properly and consistently and with some level of control. Nope, that doesn't change anything. I mean, let's just try this anyway to prove that it's still going to moan about that. Ever 7, no, we just at the minute we're just getting it's not even detecting a hard drive. Which let's try then. The thing I didn't want to try, but for now we might as well, just to prove that this may be, because as I mentioned, these connectors I've made. One variation is definitely upside down, but this one shouldn't be. I could just properly check which way around the connector should be, but let's just plug it in. Find out the hard way. No hard drive, plug this in upside down, and normally if it's the wrong way, this will short out and basically brick the console. Yep, so there we go. So we're definitely in the right way on the IDE. So long cable is ironically not now coming up UDMA errors, it's literally just not loading. So where do we go from here? Because now we can't even get this long one. Let's put the other long one in case this, for some reason, this end connector's messed up. I'm going to get the long connector that was actually used at the start of this video to again be absolutely sure that this isn't the fault, this connector here, because this is just from another bag. So let's now get the one I actually used at the start of the video, because you know this can be where you go crazy otherwise. This is the exact known working one. And it could also be this middle block. So we might have to swap that from there to get back to truly the original. I should have just swapped the original back to long. I just wanted to keep the original working in the shorter configuration. Because we shouldn't be getting we weren't getting no hard drive at all. We were getting the UDMA issue on boot. Now we're just getting no hard drive whatsoever discovered. So I'm suspecting the connector may be wrong, although the likelihood of that is very low. I've done enough of this that we need absolute guarantees at this point. Oh yeah, the power supplies. It's one thing people have been crying out for me to finish making is the clean power USB-C for the Xboxes. I still need to make it. I will make it. I just, like with everything, takes time with me. I've got very little time for actual development at the minute of products, unfortunately. Let's give that a go. So the only difference now is I've swapped this out just for absolute sanity checking that this thing isn't faulty. And yeah, so that's definitely not it. The only other thing would be this middle connector. So, I'm being a fool. You know that thing I said at the start of the video where I tried for ages where if you don't connect the DVD drive, you get inconsistent results? It makes an absolute difference. If you don't connect that DVD drive, the hard drive won't load. It does sometimes, but trust me, that's something I literally told you at the start of the video that's what can happen sometimes. No, so it isn't in this case, it isn't the instance, but yeah, trust me, if you don't connect a DVD drive, that can interfere with hard drive loading. Just happens to be it's not in this case. Right, we're going to have to go back to then. The only thing that could be different is that middle connector, but to save going back and forward on that, well, actually, no, I think that's the only option. I'm going to have to now swap this middle connector block around now, and then we've ultimately converted this back to the original block. I mean, there's no way that can be faulty, surely. To connect a block, it's all connected in. That's in there. I don't know. Let's leave that all connected. Let's get one more. This is so confusing. Ooh, thanks for the sub. Get one more. Right then. It's a good job I've got plenty of these. Mine will load with no DVD drive set to the BIOS. Yeah, I just remember it distinctively. For a long while, I was trying to get hard drives to boot, and I was getting like it would boot, then it wouldn't, and then I'd have no idea why, and nothing changed until I finally got one where if I plugged the DVD drive in with the hard drive, it booted. I unplugged the DVD drive, it failed, saying the hard drive was bad. Plugged it back in, worked. Unplugged it, failed with a different error. Left it unplugged, worked randomly. So I kind of observed it and watched it myself. It definitely was some random issue that the DVD drive being floating was causing. So I just don't trust it anymore. If I get issues, I always plug it in. Right, I'm just checking these. They're all connected. I'm going to go straight in with plugging this in here. And maybe, let's turn on first. Still working. Let's plug the hard drive into the short end, which worked on the other cable, to prove that at least this cable works the same as the other cables. And then we'll plug it in the long end. And if that gives us no result, exactly the same, then we have, for no apparent reason, got a completely different behavior than the start of the video then at that point. Because at the start of the video, see, no, that one's working. Oh yeah, no, that's right. Short end works. Long end now, I presume, won't. But at the start of all this, with the long cable, we did get it to launch into BIOS and tell us that it had a UDMA speed issue, not that it can't even find the hard drive. So if this can't find the hard drive at all now, we've literally landed on a different error with the same setup. So either way, that just means that the long cable is just inconsistent as hell, which is the biggest problem we've got. Ooh, thanks for the follow. Are these YouTube followers? Because we're not even on Twitch at the minute. Oh, it's not worked. Oh, is Twitch kicked back in now? Bank management flash. What? Okay. Exact cable. Exact plugs. Connected the same. This doesn't work. That one's now working. This is the inconsistency I'm on about all the time. You just watch that happen. So now we've got full long setup, no DVD drive reading the hard drive. Like, we can browse the hard drive. The thing is, this will only show. Actually, looks like it shows everything. Yeah, so look, hard drive working clearly. X doesn't have anything. It's F. So F's got every game ever made. They're all in here. Hard drive's working. Launch, and then this will fail with UDMA. But Prometheus can read the hard drive, so it's not strictly an issue with the hard drive. But we're now back to a setup. There you go. No DVD drive. Cool. So, in fact, that's a good proof. Let's now it's complaining there's no hard drive. Let's change the BIOS to the no hard drive mod to check if it works with no hard drive. Yeah, the factory BIOS might well be a big part of this as well. Right, remove BIOS, UDMA 4, flash BIOS. And because I've never proved as well this no DVD drive thing actually works. So let's do UDMA 4 as well. Exactly the same, just that we've got the no hard drive version. Right, so now this shouldn't tell us there's no hard drive because we've bypassed it. And it maybe will boot, which I don't know where to go. If this boots, no, there we go. So now we're back to where we were. So this is where we were at the start of the video. Long cable causing UDMA 13. That's what we want. So now we can start. So next step, swap this hard drive out for an SSD. And do we get consistency? Same thing. OGX 360, probably just putting the 360 inside of an Xbox original case. I put an Xbox Series X or S inside of an original, which was actually quite sick. Launch, and let's see. I thought I was going boot. I was going to say do not boot. So hard drive can't be the issue. Different hard drive. For shits and giggles, let's try a third hard drive just to be sure. And that then is down to StarTech adapter. Go back to that setup. Which setup? The original hard drive in UDMA 13. Boot with eject button. Yeah, that'll boot into safe mode, won't it? And probably work because it'll just go to UDMA 2. But we'll try that in a second. Yeah, so that's consistent with all of them. UDMA 13, which is a speed issue. Let's now boot with the eject, which, if I remember rightly, it's Prometheus though. Don't know whether it'll do the same. I know boot with the eject is normally for BIOS to boot with the safe mode, which we can flash in a second. Oh, thanks for the sub. Yeah, so this is basically telling us it doesn't like running fast, so that's fine. Let's just prove that removing that BIOS, going to UDMA 2, this then boots. So we know the hard drive has nothing to do with it. This is 3 different hard drives. We are down to looking like it is as simple as cable length at this point. Remove BIOS, gone. Flash BIOS. UDMA 2, upload. And then if this should now boot. Actually, did this even boot? I don't think this did boot, did it? No. This didn't boot before on long cable. Nothing got the long cable booting, even UDMA 2. So, if this boots with UDMA 2, yeah, so nothing at all with long cable gets UDMA 2 booting. Like, nothing at all on long cable gets booting full stop. So let's plug the DVD drive in. just to stabilize the potentially loading down the IDE rail. Might prevent noise, you don't know. And we'll leave it on UDMA 2. In fact, let me prove something else. We've got long cable. Can Prometheus read this hard drive? Interesting. Prometheus has no issues reading the hard drive, but SurBIOS does. Is SurBIOS actually an issue? This was my other suspicion at the start. Is SurBIOS actually... No, you know what? DVD drive stabilized it, hasn't it? Bet this is going to boot. Because this is where I say the DVD drive not being in or being in can change the behavior. Which is definitely changed the behavior because now it's just sitting at a blue screen. I should have made a table of things here, of how many different things there are. Yeah, it's not getting load. Let's go back to the original hard drive and leave the DVD drive in and see if we get UDMA 2. What's changed? We've plugged the hard drive in on a no hard drive BIOS. That's the difference at the minute, just to see what that does. Something or nothing, we'll see. So this, I presume, can still read. Yep. So Prometheus has no issues reading the hard drive, but that could be reading it obviously a lot slower. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I've got them. I actually sell them. It's listed on the website. It's listed as one of the options. They are. I bet I haven't got it in stock now. Got them. I'm tempted to put an Aladdin chip on as well. X-Blast. Stock Aladdin. Yeah, I have got them. Oh, in fact, I don't know that I ended them or not, but yeah, I know what you mean. Little black box with a Pico in. I either still do when I haven't got them in stock, or I used to sell them. Right, so DVD drive in on a no DVD drive SurBIOS stops it. Like, I mean, maybe that's right. Maybe it's expecting there not to be a DVD drive in when you say there's none. So let's see now, without the DVD drive, do we get back to the UDMA issue, which we should, and then let's flash it back with a DVD drive to see if that then changes the behavior. So this should tell us UDMA 13 if we're going to be consistent, which is what we need. We need some consistency here. UDMA 13. Oh, fuck you. Now it's booting. See? This is now long cable, everything in. Now it's just working. Nothing's changed. That's never worked before. We've never got long cable working. Long cable. This was the exact start of the video that failed. Now it's working. This is what I'll say. Totally and utterly inconsistent. And if it should work with or without it, it didn't work with that plugged in. Unplugged it, now it's working. This is like edge case length noise maybe. So if that's the case, this would struggle to load or crash. So looking like, yeah, look at that. I think it's not loaded now. So I think that was just pure fluke that it managed to load. And then it's like hung at that point. So yeah, that maybe makes sense. That it's like, I bet if we restart now, it'll just fail to boot this time for like, even though it's just booted and nothing's been unplugged. Yeah, I might try Aladdin. Right, this is set up ready. This is the 3.1 at the minute, but we can try the other. So this has not worked about 7 times and just magically worked the last time. So is this now going to just work every time? Or is it going to fail with UDMA 30? No, it's going to just work every time now. Yeah. Tell me why. Well, I say it's working. Yep, it's working. I can hear the fan kicking, which means the CPU and GPU have rendered up. And I think you have to wait for this animation. I think you can get past it. I don't know. This is not good though, because this has not worked. This is the whole point of this video. This setup, well, you've seen it not working over and over, and now it's just working, and we've changed nothing. This is literally long cable, exactly what wouldn't work. The only thing is, I don't think it gets into here. Like, just touching this seems to be enough to stop it loading. So let's ignore the fact that that's just magically working and shouldn't. Let's plug the DVD drive in, go back to the DVD drive build, and then let's see if we can get some consistency there. But that's straight away, you've seen it for yourself, the inconsistency I'm on about. This is what we do. We'd set it up like this, all works, send it to the customer, and then you get the UDMA error. So it's like, it's not consistent enough. So remove BIOS, get rid of UDMA 2, flash BIOS. I'm going to now choose the, we're going to go back to the stock hard drive and DVD one. It's still the exact same BIOS, just now with the DVD drive enabled. Let's launch that. And if this works now, this is literally what has never worked or inconsistently worked, that you've seen yourself on this stream not working. And if this doesn't work now, all we've just done is enabled the DVD drive and then it stopped working, which by the looks of it, that's what's happened. So no change, just turn that drive on, now it doesn't work. Fun times. So let's now swap the mod chip. Out you come, in you go. I think you go at the top. It's been ages since I've done this. Yeah, goes at the top, doesn't it? Right, let's see what that does. This will now be probably Evo X, maybe? Nope, that'll now be... Chip, does that go on there, maybe? Come on, turn off. Oh, yay. So, Aladdin either doesn't work, or we're going to have a permanently on and off chip again now. Put this back on. Wait a second, because sometimes, as you've seen, once it gets the 3 flash, you have to wait a while for it to discharge fully. I'm impatient. There we go. Yeah, so Aladdin doesn't want to boot. I don't know how much I want to bother going down that rabbit hole for a minute. Maybe try one more. This one doesn't have the bridge on. In fact, that's got the wrong bridge on. I just noticed on the chip. Let's actually show off a bit of soldering for once. So on here, things not to do. Place a chip on a heatsink while it's turned on with mains voltage. On these older ones, these Aladdins, you had to ground, it's on the wiki if I can't remember, I believe you grounded this pin, is it D0 on the back? Tell you what, it's been that long, I can't remember. I'm sure it was this trace, so I'm sure that's that, and I just bridged these two together is my little hack. It says on the wiki, and I don't know whether it shows this on the wiki, but instead of having to ground a wire there, it's already ground on the board. In fact, yeah, D0 is already grounded on the board, but this turns on the mod chip. So I think it was them 2 pins. Oh, actually, no, these 2 pins. Come on, eyes. I've got dry eyes. I'm getting cross-eyed looking at that. There we go. Does it have a jumper? Not the Samsung one that I can see. Nothing on show. Right, so that is my little way of not having to add a wire. I enable the chip there, and then on the motherboard itself, I don't want to slide it over where it is, but on the motherboard itself, I've got D0 grounded on the board. That means I can just pull mod chips in and out without having to mess with the wire. But I need to double check. I can't remember whether this Aladdin mod chip goes on the top pins or the bottom. I'm going to have to look at my own wiki. So Aladdin. There's Aladdin 2Ls, I think it is, isn't it? Where's my... No. Apparently my wiki doesn't have the Aladdin mod chip guide. What? Microsoft. Xbox Original. Where's my Aladdin mod chip thing gone? Have I deleted a page off my own wiki by mistake? Yeah, my Aladdin mod chip guide's disappeared off the wiki. I did not delete that. What the hell? That's weird. Just fits next to caps. Yeah, is it basically... do you ignore the top pins or the bottom pins? Like my own wiki is literally lost. Oh, hang on. This is going to confuse me, isn't it? I've moved it to... Yeah, bloody hell. I've made my wiki have an install guide section now, and I keep forgetting myself. Bum, bum, bum. And of course, it doesn't show you a photo of it installed on my wiki enough to know what's going on. Yeah, bottom ones. So this goes down to here. Why is this not going in? There we go. Right then. A long bit towards the front. Let me have a look at my own photo. And no, that's the right way there. So, well, I'll say this. Let's see what happens. There we go. So the other Aladdin chip is knackered. So this is now Evo X. Long hard drive, DVD. This didn't work on SeBIOS. If this works, then we have an issue. Yep, it's worked. Microsoft is booted. Once you see that Microsoft, it's loaded the hard drive. That's the hard drive and the dashboard found, and then now it's loading the dashboard. So this pause is where it normally goes black to load that boot up. Or is it going to struggle and get stuck here as well? Yeah, so on the wiki now, I've added, because we're going to have a lot more on the wiki. There's now a new install guide section here, which is specifically now for install guides, not repairs. But then I forget about it, go into here, go all the way down, and can't find it. But the wiki's that big now. I'm thinking of making a new homepage where this has got like consoles and things, so you can search by console. And I don't know, instead of browsing here, I'm thinking of making it a bit more interactive somehow, because it's getting quite hard to navigate. So where are we even up to now? Right, mod chip hasn't made a difference, which means the BIOS isn't the problem, the mod chip isn't the problem, the hard drive isn't the problem, because we've swapped that multiple times. Disk drive is a maybe, because I don't think Evo X is going to load with no disk drive. And the thing is, this is loaded without the disk drive, even though it didn't before. Yeah, this is SeBIOS 3 with SeBIOS hard drive setup. So see, without the disk drive, it doesn't come up with Microsoft. So the disk drive is 100% messing with things differently. All we know is it's definitely not hard drive. That's been ruled out multiple times. Mod chip is giving exact same behavior as the SeBIOS, so mod chip is ruled out. So we can get back to that. Let me fix the other. Where's the other mod chip on? They are not the cores. What the hell did I do with the other Aladdin chip? Oh, forget it. That's that done. Right, hard drives aren't the issue. They can be moved out of the way. I'm pretty sure we've checked the connectors. Yeah, I use Fat Explorer to make the hard drives, and we've tried. One of the hard drives is just a small 128 gig as well, so it's not that. Let's try the DVD drive in, the hard drive to the smaller hard drive, just to eliminate a large hard drive being more difficult to load or timing out, and the fact it's an SSD as well. Because even though we've had this loading without the DVD drive, which is intermittent and doesn't always work, we've never had it loading yet with both connected like this, long hard drive and DVD drive. This is never yet loaded, even on UDMA 2. So if this then loads now, then the hard drive plays some part in it. Luckily, it doesn't look like it's loading. So now let's prove if we remove the DVD drive. I think this will say no DVD drive because this is the DVD drive version. We'll go back to the no DVD drive version and test again. This is all just trying to get some consistency going. We're starting to see consistency now, which is important. This should now say no DVD drive, hopefully. And then we have, like I say, a level of consistency. Yes, so at least we're getting consistent results now. Or you're getting inconsistent results now, maybe. Doing the same thing with the same ribbon, DVD drive pass direct to BIOS. Yes, well, you're getting basically the same thing, just actually no, you're getting frag on it, so that's like I was getting randomly on one of my cables. Just try unplugging the ribbons and replugging them in. I think sometimes they might just be sitting slightly slanted, maybe. Right, back to, tell you what, it's a good job you can flash the BIOS this quick. We're going back to the no DVD drive BIOS. I'm flashing this over the network if you're wondering how this magic works. This is now bypassed that. We don't have it connected, and this worked intermittently, which never worked before, but now it seems to magically work. Yeah, and now it's working on that. So this is a smaller hard drive, just actually no, I say that, we've never got past this, there you go, unspecified error. So that's a failed launch, but we haven't proven this hard drive yet, this new Diddy hard drive. So let's prove this hard drive works by connecting it up to the short end, which has worked so far with everything. Ow, they are spiky. So this is now going to prove that that little hard drive is definitely okay. And then we're down to, we can eliminate the hard drives at this point, if this works. So this should now fully load. If so, hard drives are 100% ruled out as the problem. There is no way the hard drives are playing a part in this. If this loads. Yeah, that's loaded now because fan spin. Yep, so, and this should literally get us into the full XBMC. Is the motherboard talking to the DVD? There's Xbox out that reads yes and no. The BIOS completely bypasses all that, and we've disabled the reading of the drive completely. So, yeah, that's fully working then. And I think there's that. Of course, there's just Halo games on this. So this is a Diddy setup. So we can leave that connected. Where did I get to BIOS? There's a tool that you remote into servers with. And you can download everything. Absolutely everything, like everything you could ever dream of. It is Pandora. Just download Pandora, I believe, maybe. Yeah, it's Pandora, pretty sure. What am I doing? Getting too distracted. Right, so hard drives ruled out. DVD drive ruled out, is not even connected. So DVD drive out the way, games out the way. In fact, I'll leave Doom on the scene. Ribbons are a definite part. So double short ribbon works. slightly longer ribbon, still works. Longer ribbon now consistently fails. Are you positive you didn't get the Ceballos 3 from 256 folder? I've got loads of Ceballos. I can flash a different one. But what are we thinking in terms of what difference that would make? Because we've got Ceballos fully booting with the ribbon shorter. Are you thinking there's like a different, some settings in it or something that are going to cause a problem only when it's in the longer ribbon, maybe? And we know this at the minute, right? We're down to now trying to rule out the adapters next, because we've ruled out the hard drive, we've ruled out the DVD drive. We know the ribbons play a part, but we haven't now proven these adapters. So yeah, see, Prometheus can read the hard drive, and this will... What does this do? This loads partially, doesn't it, and then hangs. If I remember rightly, we see the boot up. There we go, 13. So now we're back to 13 when we had it loading before randomly. So this is definitely the stage we're at with the inconsistency. Let's now swap out. That can go out the way, mate. Let's try these adapters now. Let's try every version and see if we can get this past where we're now at. Yeah, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure no, I'm not using the pre-compiled stuff. So when I'm flashing these BIOSes, they are, let me just have a look. These are the raw BIOSes, which are 256 meg by default, but they're going onto the Ceballos Prometheus, which handles all of them. So it can load all that up, no problem. So these are technically the 256, but obviously the mod shell thing, the Raspberry Pi Pico, has no problems with that. But we'll mess with a few more BIOSes in a minute. We'll eliminate these connectors. I've got 3 different brands, and another one brand new I brought the other day, just to really try to get to the bottom of this. Yeah, this is what our ribbons need. Stop the pins, pointy pins. Right, this one stopped boot altogether. So this China special is stopping us even getting to Prometheus by the looks of it, or even turning the system off. There we go, off. Oh, thanks for the sub. I think I've had more subs today than I've had in about 5 months. But then again, I've lost about 40 subs in a month because I've barely been streaming. Yeah, China adapters stopping everything working. So adapters play a part, but this adapter could just be dead. Let's try another one. Yeah, this literally stops the system booting. There we go. Oh, I tell you what, I'm going to have no thumbs left after doing this. I'm not looking forward to the fact we've got like 12 of these to make as well. Right, so it doesn't work well. Let's try this one. And this one has a jumper on that doesn't tell us what it's for. J1, oh, it does. Open slave short master. So we'll keep it shorted. Yeah, Twitch unfortunately died within the first like 3 minutes. And because I've got the YouTube tied in to the basically the way OBS works is you start a main stream, which is Twitch, and I tie in the YouTube feed to the same stream. So then when Twitch has died, I couldn't start Twitch back up by ending it because YouTube was linked to it. And if you stop and start the stream, you end up getting no viewers because it doesn't show it. So unfortunately, this one is Facebook and YouTube only. TikTok failed because also the vertical camera review. Oh no. Elgato, on my knees a minute. The vertical webcam failed to boot as well, so we're not even on TikTok either. So this has ended up being almost a YouTube special. This is what Elgato loves to do to me. I have to get on my hands and knees and unplug a stupid Elgato. Because it just loves to randomly fail on me. And then that should now hopefully work this time. So this is now just another random adapter. I wonder if that was the problem with the other one actually. Right, so now this is, let's check if we can read. Yep, in fact that was faster. That was way faster. Interesting. That's faster. Go on, you know you want to load. No, what a shame. See, I don't like this. I've never really ran this kind of DVD driveless mod, but okay, let's try it just on the short one. Let's see if this adapter behaves the same as the StarTech in terms of, let's put it on the short end and it should work, just to prove that. I've got all adapters. I've got the official StarTechs. I've got all random brands and makes. But now we're definitely at the point of trying to rule out adapters. What I'm trying to get to the bottom of is I want to end up with one variable, which so far is the ribbon length. That's where it's looking like. And that's what I suspected at the start was just, it's got to be the ribbons. But then, I don't know, the fact that I can read the hard drives every time. See how much slower that is though on the short end. Yeah, it's making me want to make my own BIOS or my own adapter, one or the other. See, and then so they're all consistent then. So they all load when we put them on the short end, and as soon as you have length in the signal, we're getting corruption. So we're definitely dealing with just simple. The signal's traveling too far. We're getting reflections coming back down the rail. The solution to this is going to be resistors on the pins. I know it is. And the thing is, the StarTech might have some resistors on certain pins. In fact, it does. So we might be able to mod some resistors on there. Oh, interesting. I had to put 2 resistors on and change the caps. Or not. We're about to touch on the same kind of idea there. Is what the resistors will probably be is, they might not be, but I'm suspecting maybe the IDE protocol has some signals more critical than others, or maybe faster, like a clock. I honestly can't remember. It's been that long since I've looked at IDE stuff. We might dig into that in a minute. So this one is not working any different. That one doesn't work at all with the glue on. This one is technically exactly the same as the other, but I brought it at a different time. So let's just give this one a go on the long run. And then if this is the same, we can pretty much rule out adapters as massively different. And then the only solution here would be, which is what I was going to do before this video, is, this is so spiky. Fuck. You try pushing this in over and over and over. These things just dig in your fingers. I think the current solution to get these out the door is going to have to be shorter ribbons. And I'm going to have to make an adapter so the hard drive fits closer to here than over there. Is that an MO3E you're trying there? What's an MO3E? Is that the name of the random adapter maybe? All I know is it's an AliExpress special, this one. J Micron Technology JM20330. The other one is a MO03H. This one's an MO03H, not 3E. The one that doesn't work at all. And I've got tubs full of these. I could try even more. But that is looking like all the adapters are working the same. Right, I think it's time we dug into... no, one other thing. Let's try now. Go back to StarTech. Let's try messing with BIOSes. Let's get rid of SBIOS and try some other random stuff. Even though we tried that Aladdin chip, I want to try one more. The resistor thing, though, might give me a hint at what the resistors are doing. If it's something like I'm thinking, which is a termination resistors to stop reflection and it's only on a certain pin, that might give me the info I need to get this working. Because what we could do is put a potentiometer on instead of a resistor, put an oscilloscope on if we could be bothered to monitor for reflections and tune it, or I could just adjust the pot and keep trying to boot. So yeah, if you could find out that resistor thing, that might be, somebody may have already gone through all this pain and been smart enough to think along the lines of the fact you've got a big long run, you're meant to have termination resistors on, and these things definitely don't. I can't push this in much more. I've got a permanent dotted thumb. I'm getting thirsty and hungry as well. What time are we on? It's only 5 to 5. Right, hard drive back in. Something. Don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Long ribbon. This is gonna. What does this do? Fail to boot or UDMA 13. You get one or the two. Launch. Go. And this is still the slowest speed, UDMA 2. So. Right, so the StarTechs are slightly different. They do actually. Is this fucking booting now? No, that's boot looping. That should have booted. So random. Yeah, these are mega inconsistent. There you go. So now on, yeah, just all over the place basically. We get just complete random behavior. Right, let's try now flashing different BIOSes, and then after that, we know it's the cable. Well, we already know it's the cable now, bar the BIOS. Once you've eliminated the BIOS, we are down to purely cable signal. But the fact Prometheus can read the hard drive doesn't prove it, because it's only reading files slowly and it takes time like that. So, yeah, doesn't necessarily prove it. Right, let's. Oh god, tired. Let's flash another BIOS. What BIOS shall we do? We could try BIOS hybrid 2.4.2. Let's chuck him on. See what he does. So let's try this one. Oh, this is going to complain about the DVD drive, isn't it? You have to plug the DVD drive in for this one, I reckon. Don't do that while it's turned on. That's what buggered the system the last time. If you have the yes, there we go. Same random error with the other BIOS. Which, to be honest, let's just plug this back in for the minute, because I'm not sure whether we're on a DVD-less boot or not. And at the end of the day, I really need the DVD drive to work if I can not help it. If you have the MO3, I've sent the specific mod to that one. I don't really need to know specific ones. It's just really I want to see. Well, do the guides tell you why they're swapping it and what it does? Is the answer. If not, then yeah, I probably do need one of the specifics, like MO03H or J Micron JM 20330 EVB 0023. If not, I'll be able to figure it out myself. I'll just look at what the chips do, look at the interface. You know, there'll be a way. Or tell me the StarTech resistor, and I can figure that one out. Right, let's boot this one again. You watch after all this, just BIOS 2 will work instead of 3. Be nice if something worked. Jesus, need more sleep. Yeah, so this is hanging at the same place. Yeah, if it tells you what resistor on the StarTech, though, I can look under the scope where it goes to. Right, so BIOSes don't change anything. Let's flash a different BIOS. Non-StarTech 100. Yeah, so 100 ohm is termination resistor. 100 ohm to R4K resistor. To R4, 10K to RH1. Right, so 100 ohm is a classic. In fact, let's ask good old Gemini. Save me working it out. Thing is, it also matters on cable length as well. I'm trying to calculate a termination resistor on an IDE interface. What is the conventional speed of IDE set up in UDMA 2 mode? And would a 100 ohm resistor give you a clue at the correct value? Let's just start with that. Too lazy to work out the speeds. This should give us the speed. It also varies based on the width of the traces and loads of other things. It's not just a place a resistor on, but in general. UDMA 2 Ultra DMA mode, that's what it stands for. 33 megabytes a second. What's the clock speed? Oh yeah, it's a 33 meg signal, so it's the same as the Game Gear clock. Basically, the speed, so it is quite fast. But again, reflections don't matter on the speed of the clock so much as they do the speed of the rising signal. So you could have like a 1 hertz signal that still needs a reflection transistor because the speed that it goes from 0 to 5 volts, for example, is the transition speed. That's what matters. But it gives you a hint. If it's running at 33 megahertz, it gives you a potential hint at how fast it can be. On the 88, provide an interval of 30 nanoseconds per transfer. And you can go up to UDMA 2 is the highest Ultra DMA mode, blah, blah, blah. Instead, it gives you the clue about the characteristic impedance, the transmission line, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I know all this. Give me some basic info. What is it? Oh, that hasn't given me any info. You should put an external series resistor on the fast data line. Yeah, that's not really helped. It's not understood what I've said. Need to be more specific. So it's telling us it's 33 megahertz. Ask another chat that doesn't know anything about this. What's the correct value of a termination resistor for a 33 megahertz signal running on a classical 50 ohm impedance trace going 12 inches? That should be roughly what we have set up. Less information is better. Wow. Oh, you're not even seeing all this. I've got a problem. Yes, no shit. Let's try that again. Copy, paste. Come on, Gemini, do your job. There we go. Do it second time. Series power 12 inches, 30 megawatt, transmission line delays 2 nanoseconds, blah 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 blah. Resistor value, blah blah blah. Yeah, so 20. So this is the same as USB, sort of 22 to 30. But as I say, that varies based on a lot of things, and you can tune it to what you see on the traces. So my suspicion is that 100 ohm is kind of a rough guess of where they're trying to get it. And it also matters if it's parallel or series and stuff like that. So I reckon that's within the ballpark. Where were we at now? We wanted to flash. We're going to flash another BIOS, weren't we, first? We tried to BIOS. What is that? Ilpis HD. That's not a BIOS. Where's my BIOS folder? Gone to the wrong one. Evo X. Now we tried Evo X M8, but let's try M8 plus 16, maybe? I don't know. Let's go for it. Upload that. Will that just appear in here, or have I got to go back out and in? Yeah, out, in. There we go. So let's try this one. See if this gets us anywhere different. So this is like the Aladdin mod chip. Basically, this is what most of the old Aladdins come on. If this works, then BIOS is a problem. It's found the hard drive like the other one has because it got to Microsoft, but then it seems to like hang after that. So there's definitely glitching going on. This is a 1.4 or 5. It's got the Focus AV chip, and we've got the slots for the extra RAM. So I'm pretty sure that's a 1. I think that's 1.4, isn't it? Yeah, so this is hanging. So it doesn't look like it's going to be BIOS, but let's try one more anyway. And then we are down to hardware level fixing of, I guess, seeing if we can figure out how the IDE interface works. That's not ideal though. I mean, well, one solution is the solution we've got at the minute, which is to use a shorter cable. That's like the current only solution, but I don't like it. Evo X M8. Should we try the non-plus version of Evo X? Oh, that's a zip file. M816. I don't know if there's a difference between M816 and M816 Plus, but we'll see in a minute. Give that a go. Doop 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 doop. Definitely ready for my tea. I was yawned. I've yawned more times than we've had subscribers on this video, I think, today. I had one coffee. No, it's not looking like any different. So, I mean, all this, let me just check there's no disk in the drive. No, good. So, it's not the fact that it's just sitting trying to load a disk. Give it another second or two. Nah, it's not going to load. I don't know if I've got any more BIOSes left anyway. Same version, but mine's straight to BIOS now. I've got 80 core ID replaced. That's 3 centimeters shorter. Yeah, it's 100% just length of cable. This is bad looks of it, and just so, but it does mean we should be able to fix this with resistors basically to stop the reflection, because this is not too long of a. This isn't, in theory. Yeah, it can be 30 meg. Actually, that could be a skew. I don't think it's too long though, because where is the process of the? No, it might be. Yeah, I wonder what the skew time is. Let's ask good old chat again. What is the signal propagation delay on 14 inches of trace for a 33 megahertz signal? Not that the signal would matter, propagation delay. Total delay you're pushing it. So going that bit longer, including the ribbon length and the length to the CPU, you're getting a 2 to 2.5 nanosecond delay, which is 1 clock pulse on 33 meg, which is UDMA 2 speeds. So in theory, the delay getting up to here is 1 full clock cycle over. So if there's no compensation on here for that, that is at the limit of technically being too far and missing a beat. Like that'll miss 1 clock signal potentially. I've tried different DVD drives, yes, but we've tried it with the no DVD boot and it didn't, so we remove that anyway, and it will boot from the short and not from the long. So that's kind of eliminating the DVD anyway. We need longer cables, because when you put this in here, like so, and then you need to put your hard drive in here. If this isn't long enough, the hard drive physically can't sit in the cradle. So the solution is, and the solution we've done for a while, is to put this closer and do a bracket or some hackery. I need to watch myself on that mains electric. Basically, we can just about fit. I think the hard drive has to go upside down right by the fan there to fit in. It's like got to sit up there. So it's not like we need the length of the cable, and the one that works, which is just long enough, is this, but it's a pain to fit. That's why I made these, because this was really awkward to fold in the right shape. But the solution could also be me just buying the FPC ribbons slightly shorter. My other solution, I don't want to, I kind of don't want to give this away though, but I had another solution to this. I don't want to say, because I don't want somebody else going to do what I want to do as a mod. I've got another complete solution to this that bypasses all of these problems, but I don't want to say. Basically, I'll probably release that mod when I get time. If I open up the drive, I've had config magic. But the MD drive was jumbled up slightly with Samsung. Yeah, flash, but once resistors were changed, the drive worked. Yeah, there's hope. on this resistor idea and ultimately trying to stop the noise. Yeah, you can get 80 pins like this. That's what this is. But these are like 20 quid now, these cables are. Where when I make my own, this is like 2 quid. And these are very hard to get, and they're only available in the US. And the ones you get that aren't from the US are used and dirty. And yeah, I just don't like using these. It's another solution, but I've got better solutions anyway. Right, where are we up to then? DVD drive's not a problem. These adapters aren't technically a problem. Cable length is the only thing left. So we are dealing with cable length, which means we are dealing with, I don't think noise. Noise wouldn't really get that much worse in length. It will, but I don't think that's the issue. If it is crosstalk and noise, we're screwed. Like, resistors won't fix that. So the longer traces run in parallel, you get more crosstalk. Resistors won't change that as such. So I think we need to look at this resistor ID then, or the IDE interface. Oh, you'll have to send me a link on that then, because that'll maybe get me out of a pickle, because we don't really have a solution at the minute that I like for getting these out the door. Time to actually do some thinking instead of just turning things on and off now. So let's take a look at the StarTech adapter. Let's take a look at IDE interface stuff. Let's do some brain work, basically. These two go. Power cable is pre-twisted. Yeah, the twisting will actually help with noise if we are dealing with noise, which we could well be. Because basically straight line runs are the worst possible thing for noise. Running parallel strips like this is literally the way you get noise transferred. That's why you get like twisted shielded cables and things. The twist helps with stopping the crosstalk. You're basically dealing with two things. You've got crosstalk between two traces that run next to each other. So like when they run like this in a big straight line, each one can influence the other, and you get crosstalk over the signals. That's one interference, and that's what you will be getting on these, because you've got big long runs. So this is just awful for crosstalk. This is not good. Then the other noise you'll get is reflection, which, to be honest, that was a better example of showing. So reflection is when a signal travels down its wire, gets to the other end, and this wire would typically be, say, 50 ohm impedance. So it's got a resistance, if you will, of 50 ohms. That's not what it is. Impedance is time related, but think of it as resistance going down the wire. And then what happens is you send a high pulse and it travels down this wire. It gets to the receiver, the Xbox, or the hard drive, or wherever it's going between sender and receiver. And when it gets to the receiver, if the receiver's internal circuitry isn't the same 50 ohm impedance, so it has a different, think of it like flowing in water, and it's a certain width. And then it gets to the receiver, and the receiver's clamped off because it's got high resistance. Say it's got like a 10k resistor here. When this water, if you will, flows down, this energy that you send down hits this tighter flow. Some of it flows through, but the other reflects back. It's got nowhere to go, so it hits here, bounces back, and this, you get a propagation wave of electricity going backwards. And that's a reflected signal. So what you do when you're putting a series resistor here is you put like 10, 20, 30, 40 ohms. That acts as a natural damper that softens the blow, so you get less to no reflection going back. There's some good videos on YouTube, or some really old videos where they show it kind of like a, I think what they get is like a string, and they wobble the string from one end and show it vibrating. In fact, it might be worth pulling up. It's a really good way to visualize. Like, me talking about it probably won't get you understanding it, but what would I even search for? Electronics, signal reflection explained, maybe. I saw the video years ago. I'd know it if I saw it. There was one video that was really good at demonstrating it. So, reflamed rope, maybe. Well, yes and no. This has nothing to do with the video, but here's a really basic example. Nothing to do with it. See this wave? So think of this wave that the guy's sending. This is nothing to do with the electronics either, though. But see that wave going down in the rope, and then when it hits the other end, it bounces back. This is exactly what happens with electricity, basically. So you're sending these highs and lows down the IDE cable, and the other end is not the same impedance. So instead of flowing all the way into the receiver, some of it bounces back and causes this exact phenomena. But that's not the video I've seen. Well, that's my Fizzog. Let me just see if I can quickly find. It was like a university lecture, I'm sure, with a class of students, and yeah, it's called wave reflection. The theory is, I think. Oh yeah, that channel. I know that channel. It's cool. Here's another random video. So you can see there. And then they demonstrate by putting, like, I think, weights on the end as well, which act like the resistors. But you imagine this is your electrical pulse high and low going down, and it hits the end that's like a different resistance, if you will. That's what happens. But yeah, I think you get the idea for that one. That's what happens with the signals. They're going down and they're reflecting. That's what this resistor would fix. We would dampen that signal. The other issue is crosstalk between these signals. So that's when all these signals are lined up next to each other and you're getting electromagnetic crosstalk. So that's when you generate a electric field down the cable. Electric fields generate magnetism. Magnetism travels over, and magnetism reversely generates electricity. So you get crosstalk. Crosstalk we can do nothing about, bar physically separating these wires. So you could cut all these wires into single strips, physically move them apart. That would solve that. So that's out the equation. It does mean I could have made this, instead of flexible like this, I could have made an FBC ribbon myself and made these wires separate, physically separate. Like, that actually isn't a bad idea. Why didn't I think of that? That's a good idea. Yeah, there's an idea. So I could change this connector. Yeah, how would I do that? There's an idea anyway. I could physically move these wires far apart to help with that massively. Right, now on to the only other thing we can do. Did anybody find the resistor thing for the StarTech, or shall I search for it? Xbox original StarTech resistor mod. Let's see if I can find something about it. Give us a head start. If anybody else knows any of them anywhere or have sent them somewhere, let me know and I'll take a quick look. Let me just look on Discord. Sometimes people message on there. Elite members, maybe. There we go. Xbox. Oh, actually changing the resistors on the DVD drive. Interesting. That might be because the signal from the hard drive's running faster, and this helps this run faster, maybe. Cleaning, blah, blah, blah. First thing to try is resistor packs around the ID connector. Yeah, I think that's more just a... No, I think that's just a repair. That's like not inherently the problem. See if anybody else has done anything useful. Yeah, here we go. So the MO3 adapter must be modified, removal of the 0 ohm resistor, 100 ohm resistor added. Yeah, they're not really saying why. This device was not formed, blah, blah, blah. StarTech, patter. And all the photos don't work. So, yeah, I'm guessing somebody kind of... I don't know, they figured it out by knowing what they're doing or just by guessing. Okay, forget that then. IDE pinout and interface specifications. Let's take a look at this. Right. In fact, we might be able to just use chat to bypass this a bit quicker. Reset ground. Data lines. Key. Right, okay. Out of all these signals, which is going to suffer the most from signal reflections and cause timing issues? Let's see if this does anything useful. Strobe and clock signals, blah, blah, blah. So the DIOW and DIOR, which are what? Read and write. So data in, out, read and write pins. Ultra DMA clocks. See, I would say, in fact, what's the maximum frequency on these pins? Give me a table of each pin and the maximum typical frequency of the signals. Let's see if that's even going to generate that usefully. Ooh, here we go. Right, that's useful then. So, slow, 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 slow. These bad boys. These are the ones we want to touch. Pin 23, 25, 21. They are the absolute mission critical pins. Right then. So, where's this? Okay, we might have to. Hang on. Oh yeah, they're all there. They're all going across. Let's get this thing off a minute. This might be them 3 resistors and fixed. Maybe. I don't know. You'd think as well. The fact that StarTech has a reputation for being good, you'd think they've been made, should definitely at least have termination resistors on. So we should just be able to swap them if so. So what have we got? All them pins go along, through, under, and then they're all going to go to this chip, aren't they? It doesn't look like it's gone off pins. But it must do. Wow. There we go. See if we can get the data sheet for that. Oh shit, it's listening to me talk. Marvel 88 SA 8052-NNC2 datasheet. Oh, that might not be the right thing. Yeah, there we go. Got the datasheet up. Well, that's not a datasheet. That's still not a datasheet. That's still not a datasheet. I've got a feeling we're not going to get the datasheet for this. Wow, no, just keeps downloading the same PDF that's not a datasheet. That's annoying. Let's try getting rid of the... hang on, did it type it in wrong? SS... SA... well, can't even see. SA 80288. Yeah, got it right. Ooh, DigiKey, seriously. No, it's just listed it, but no datasheet again. Oh, that's so frustrating. Nope, that's a submarine. Do you think we should try to do this instead? Let's fix a submarine. That's not even the same thing. Okay, so we're not gonna. I mean, I could probably find this. Yeah, we tried earlier in the video. We tried all 4 versions of. Oh, it's Marvel. That's why we never can get data sheets. These are renowned for hiding data sheets behind clients. I remember this from somewhere else. I did actually find a data sheet though, but there we go. That's what we need. Oh, let me zoom in more. Right then, that's it. Well, it's not the same, but I can almost guarantee you with Marvel, they'll have things like this where they're close enough. So there's the data pins we're looking for. Here we go. Pin 5859. So if we remember rightly, these are what we want. We want the data in out read, I presume that stands for data in out write, or H strobe and D strobe. And then we want the demarc, which will be the strobe pin. So basically all the strobe pins, isn't it? D strobe, H strobe, and strobe itself. So demarc is 1, in and out. So pin 58, 59, and 60, and they have 22. So they got it right. They got a 22 ohm resistor on. That is a reflection resistor already. 22, 20, 82. Is that one? Yeah, because a different speed. So they've done it correct in theory. They've got the right resistors on. But this changes with cable length, system speed, etc. So this is set up for, actually it's 82, 22, 22. Yeah, so the demarc is 82. Even though it's the same frequency. But let's see if this might not be the same, you see, because this is technically a different chip, but let's see if that happens to marry up. Let me go under the scope because I can't see a thing there. This is going to be toasty, isn't it? So, scope. So pin 58. It's always fun. I hate these chips where there's literally, you could have 3 different places for pin 1. Pin 1 could be the top left, which is fairly standard. Pin 1 could be here. Pin 1 could be where this circle is. Pin 1 could be where this circle is. So, great start. The other option is we look at the IDE connector on this side, find the pin out for the pins we know they are, and then follow the traces. So, which one are we going to do? Oh yeah, nothing worse than that 3 fan spin on and off. Let's get an IDE pin out. Hey, welcome in. Let me see if I can get a nice visual of pins for the IDE. Position 1, position 30. It would be nice if they actually. Oh, there's a good image as well, showing you what I was trying to say about the how the cables are made. So see how they just have little stabby metal pieces going through the pins. That's how they work. Just really, it's amazing they even work that way. So we've got pin 1 up here. We know ours are pin 21, 23, and 25. So somewhere here, but 21, 3, and 5. So by the notch, it's 3 pins over. But this one doesn't tell us the pin out to confirm it's definitely the same way, because this one might be the cable pin out. Whenever you flip it round and it's the receiver pin out, it's backwards. So I always like, this is why when I do the wiki diagrams, I always show both sides of the cable or exactly which cable it is, because in fact, I've even done that on my wiki. Repair guides. Have I now got it? I wish I hadn't moved my wiki around because I knew where stuff was. So it's not there.
to learn electronics, isn't it? Video, yeah, what am I thinking? Video standards. IDE. I've got a feeling I've done something with IDE. No, I haven't. How much we charge for Electron internal HDMI mod fitted? It's now special exclusive. Oh, well, we did one, you know, and it wasn't. I'm sure it didn't work. It didn't. So I don't know whether we've got a bad one, because it was the only place in stock was AliExpress, but we fit one and it didn't work. So I can fit one, but it'd be the Xbox service cost plus a mod cost. It's not going to be cheap, basically. And to be honest, when I fit one, it didn't work, so I wouldn't be overly enthusiastic about doing that, to be honest, at the minute. How did I become repair? All self-taught, just on and off through the years, different things, and then got into retro gaming, started making mods for them, and then just started fixing them. I just like learning stuff. So pin 20, let's see if this confirms it. So yeah, see, pin 21, demark. On this one, pin 21, nothing. And in fact, it doesn't even mention demark anywhere. Whereas it's got read and write strobe, but it's pin 23 and 25, so those two line up. So those are kind of guaranteed. 21 is apparently not connected on this this pinout. So are we dealing with 23? 23 and 25 are almost definitely right. And then male at the controller and peripherals, female at the cable. So if we're looking at the connector on here, 20, well, this is hard to see. 23 and 25, you've got the notch, and then you've got up top there. Yeah, how did I become a repair guy? Like I say, pretty much self-taught, and just got into retro gaming about 7 years ago. But I've done hardware before that. I've done it on and off in me software businesses. I've done Xbox controller mods, but just like anything I do, I like learning new stuff, and I like hands-on. So right, that goes into there. So we've got female side with a notch upside down. Pin 23 and 25 are the opposite side. So yeah, this doesn't match the other one. This is why I hate the pinouts that I always make my own. So let's go with 23 and 25, which means it's not the notch side on this one. Whereas I'm sure the last one we pulled a pin up on, look, this one, notch at the top, pin 23 and 25 are at the top of the notch. This one, is that the notch inside or outside? So I think that's the notch inside the plastic, actually. So I'm going to say that's misleading, and the notch is up there, in which case it would match that, and that's more of a visual image that I think I can trust, which would make pin 1 over here, and then it's backwards again. So male side, pin 1 over here on the left, which is the controller, not the cable. But then on here, that's clearly the cable, pin 1 over there. It's just, I hate pinouts. Definitely why I make my own. Cable side. All you try to do in this case to prove it is to get multiple images that end up being the same. Hard drive connector we can trust. So the key is the dot at the bottom, which is the part that is away from the other key. So we can have key there, notch on top. Demark there is definitely pin 21, which is connected. So basically, notch over, up and over. Pin 21 would be there. Right, I think we're on to something. Bum, bum, bum. I think we're on to it then. So that cable is there, 23. Yeah, so this is holding up true, pin 23, 25, or pin 21. 23 and 25 by this hard drive picture, which I'm going to trust a hard drive picture. So we have this one, which the key is this. Let's move that out of the way a minute. Turn that off. The key is this notch here, this missing notch. And bear in mind, the hard drive is saying that it's the physical, this is going to get plugged into the hard drive, going down like this. So if we imagine this notch here, when flipped over, is now this side of the cable. So it lines up with that image now. Then DMark would be the top pin. So it would be effectively meaning the key is here, pin 19 is here, pin 21 is here. So that's pin 21, 3 and 5. So these are the 3 pins we're interested in on the cable side. So we just have to remember that. And then get the StarTech adapter. And this goes into there, for example. And now we can see pin 23, pin 21 is here, so all 3. And then the other 2 are here. So this is a resistor of interest. Based on that schematic, should be probably 22 ohms or 82. So I'm going to mark, well, we know that. That's the starting point in these 2 at the side. A couple of images and members. See if they tally up with mine. I'm going to take that off screen a minute. Yeah, similar to that. Pin 21, 3, 5. Yeah, so we're good there. Now we're lining up. So let's take a look then. What's on here? And if we have the resistors. So we said R3, which is there. That's fine. We can check that in a minute. And these 2 now. Flip over. Oh, of course. We can't see where they go because they're covered. So we're going to have to blind probe now for resistors. Okay, that was short-lived. We now want to get the multimeter out and start probing. I suppose we could measure that resistor first, just to see where we're at with our 3, see if this lines up. It should be like a... interesting. That's completely wrong if so. That's a 4.2. 4.2k resistor. Or 5.6. No, that is not right. That's making me question that pin. There's the key. There's the cable. There's the pin. It's the top pin. It's definitely that. That doesn't seem right. Well, maybe that's one of the problems. Yeah, based on what we've learned, that's wrong. StarTech have got a reason for it though. But that to me is completely wrong. And the others, maybe the others don't even have resistors. No. So that's going straight to there. So is that. So there's a few problems. The main strobe has got the wrong resistor on. Now I'm no expert in it, but from what we've learned so far, that's already wrong. So I guess quickest thing, and this is nothing to do with what anybody else says on that StarTech. That was whatever the other StarTech said. It was I can't even remember what it said, but it wasn't that. Oh, that's the dry stir.
dry solder whatever that's been sat on that tweezer tip for ages. That's that off. I'm going to just break it first. I'm going to be... actually, hang on. That's not even got a resistor going to... That's going to ground. That's just a voltage divider. That's not even a series resistor. Why is that just got a resistor to ground? Unless there's another resistor, which is nowhere near. That makes no sense either. Well, that's dark. Okay, so I think the simple answer here is maybe inline resistor. None of them have got termination resistors on at all. I'm going to put that resistor back on, but I don't understand why they just got a resistor to ground coming on that. So that is the weirdest way to... Just a plain old resistor to ground is maybe like a hackish voltage attenuation. It's weird. And that's not. 2 resistors maybe, cheap voltage divider, but on a 33 meg signal, that is one cruddy little solder job. Yeah, you shouldn't be having a 4.7k resistor on a 33 meg signal unless we've got something very wrong on our pinout. And do we have the wrong pin? Well, it'd be a pull down of anything, but you don't put pull downs on signal. Like, yes, on slow speed signals, you don't put pull downs on 33 meg like rails. It's not good because the pull up can't react as fast as it needs to, especially a 4.7k or 5.6k. That's making me question the pinout. Cable key. Position 20 on to the 20, so 21 is definitely above. So position key is there. Cable is physically plugging in, so it's going to be the opposite side, which is there. No, that is definitely that pin. Okay. I've answered that question about 5 times, by the way, about becoming a repair guy. Like I say, it's just all self-taught, just general interest, wanting to learn new stuff is the reason I repaired things, as I like to learn things. So I got into the original hardware was when I was 20, wanting to make some stuff for my living room, automatically switching video signals from SCART connectors to a projector. So I kind of dabbled in trying to teach myself then. And then I didn't do anything for years and years after that. And then I ended up doing a business modifying Xbox controllers after that, and taught myself pick chips because I was already a software developer. So I taught myself how to write effectively assembly at that point for pick chips and hack Xbox and PlayStation controllers to do like auto aiming and drop shotting and things, and made a business out of that for a good 5 or 6 years, and then went back to a massive software business, like my own. Basically, I made a massive software business, and then sold that, and then went into retro. So I know a lot more than just repairs and hardware. It's just I like to do stuff that interests me. Xbox side schematics. Yeah, I've got all them schematics, but it's going to be it's a cable side problem, basically. This is going to be. So those are the 3 pins we're interested in that need resistors ideally. None of them have resistors. This, to be honest, I kind of want to try it with that removed for now, but what we can do is I can't see where the trace is going, you see.
the via for this must be the other side of the board, like behind this connector. Otherwise, we could cut traces. The other thing I could do is add a resistor in line to my connector, maybe. So where are we? Like on my connector here, where it comes off and goes to the pin, we can probably cut these pins and add a resistor. So that's what we'll probably do. But I'll tell you what, let me just remove that off here. I know I've put it back on, but I'm going to presume we've got them pins right, because we've looked at the IDE. Put him up there so I don't lose him. We've looked at the IDE connectors, and I'm pretty sure we've got that right. Check the pins 220, 226 are ground. Yeah, we'll do. Well, we can see it on there, to be honest. You can actually see it going to ground. Of course, move that away, get that back. That's what I was looking at just. So, where are we? So if this is pin 21, you can see pin 19 and 20 are ground, because this is the ground plane. So 19 and 20 are ground, 21, 22 is ground, 23, 24 is ground, 25, 26 is ground. So yeah, they're all grounds. So we're definitely right there. And the key is there, no pun intended. If that's pin 19 and 20, and this is 21, 22, 22 would be ground. If it was going this way, to be 19, 20, 21, 22 wouldn't be ground. So we're definitely, we are 100% on ground. And then to confirm, pin 2 would be ground, which that side is probably connected to the other side. But then again, pin 2 over here is ground. Would pin 40 be ground? Yes, it is. So pin 40 is ground and pin 2 is ground. And obviously the telltale is pin 19, 20, 21 to 22 be ground, whereas this way 22 wouldn't be ground. So yeah, it's got to be. So it is right. This resistor seems dicey to me, so off he comes. If that doesn't work, I think, because I'm getting hungry now anyway, we'll, let's see, where's my video gone? There we go. We'll come back to this probably in the morning or something to modify this with some reflection resistors and stuff. But let's just now test what that does without that resistor on, as simple as that is, because that's, I don't know, I don't trust that resistor. I don't think it's going to solve it because we haven't really fixed the reflection issue, but it's also, I don't see the reasoning to be having that resistor on there. So that goes into there. And we need to actually, I think that's all we need to do. I don't think there's anything else left to do. This can go into here. Power plug. Get the HDMI up, and away we go. And I think sometimes when you do the you don't plug the controllers in when you first boot, I find sometimes they then don't work. That one's fine. Alright, so boot this. Running over the controller. Let's see what this does. And I presume it's just not going to load any different. Yep, no different. Do I quickly just add a resistor to that one pin, considering we've come this far? Let's just quickly add that resistor to this connector then. But that's a bit
Got a bit crushy in there. Let me just try that once more. The cable was a little bit crushed in. Pins are so sharp. Hang on, I'm not loading that isn't the no BIOS one, is it? Let me just delete those other BIOSes, make sure I've definitely not got. One of them is the no DVD drive one. I better wipe them off first. Remove BIOS. Yeah, let's get rid of all of them. Flash the BIOS. Let's go back to SirBIOS. I'm going to go to normal one with the disk drive. I'm going to UDMA 2, upload, because we might have just been trying to load the one that didn't expect this to be on then. So nope, that was looking like same issue. Let's also just check Prometheus can still see the hard drive in case that resistor is preventing even the most basic thing loading. I want to see what's been done with that. Yes, I can still see the hard drive, so let's now just try and quickly add, I reckon, that reflection resistor to this. Can I work with this all on my desk? Just get enough room. And now we need to figure out what pin this is. So if that was plugging into the top of there, it's got there 1, 2, and 3. So 2 and 3, that one. And there. So the ones we want to add a resistor to, we'll start with just one of them now, where it's this one, and this one. So we need this, this, and this to have a resistor on. Now I'm just going to do the main one first, which is this one. And then get a bit of flux on there. Then we can just get a 0603 resistor. We'll do, I think we'll do 100 ohm, because you sometimes, well, technically you're meant to be 50, but I'm going to go 100. Just from experience, because I know slightly stronger can be better. Let's go 91. And then I suppose we might as well just wrap it up anyway, if not, undo the other two. Because after that point, the only solution for now is a shorter cable if this doesn't work. Let's just see if this gets us anywhere. And then the nice thing here is I could actually, this could be, you know, the cable I make anyway, that's got the solution built in, if this is ultimately a solution. One ambidextrous. There we go. Right, so that's got a resistor on now of 91 ohms. This will absolutely change the signal behavior, but will it change it for the better or the worse or nothing? We shall soon find out. Try to leave this all in position if I can, so if I have to edit it again, I don't have to keep moving stuff. So can I get that over here? Make sure I plug this in the right way. Bum, bum, bum. There's there. There's there. And we are back to trying to boot. Yeah, if it works, I'll put it all on the wiki as well. Right then, so back on screen. That's on there. And let's see. Nope, but let's go back to first. Let's just prove that this all still loads without that resistor on the StarTech by plugging this into the shorter end, and I think it's still loaded up and told us that there's no DVD drive if we did this with the DVD drive version. Just want to see if that 4.8k resistor or whatever it was actually prevents this working at all. It shouldn't do, but I'm intrigued. Yeah, there's Cebios going all funky. It just didn't lock on, and then yeah, the can't find DVD. So that resistor on the StarTech didn't matter. But I tell you what, let's leave the DVD drive out a minute. Let's plug in just this, and let's try for fun firstly with that as it is, and then we'll do the no DVD drive option as well. Let's just get rid of the DVD drive out of the equation first while we're trying something new, and then we'll put the reflection resistors on the other two pins, I think, for good measure, and hopefully we might get somewhere. Interesting. So now it's actually telling us there's no DVD drive. So let's load up the no DVD drive bypass. This is going to be... Oh, that was a mistake, wasn't it? We're going to have to remove them both because I never know which is which. Flash BIOS, no DVD. Now this is... Well, this should, in theory, crash the... That's going to load. No, there you go, 13. So still the same error. So let's just add them resistors now to the last one, or the last two traces. And we could even go up to, at most you'd want to go up to like a 1K resistor. On the reflection, you never really go above that, and that's in extremes. But let's now try adding the same reflection resistor to the other two strobes. Let me just do this quickly, you don't really need to see the same process again. Where's the grinder gone? There. And it's on all of them pins now. So this is the 3 strobes. I wouldn't go any further than doing the reflection on the 3 probes, because it'd just be way too much work. Basically trying to which way is that? Yeah, it'd just be too much work to do manually. You could put it on a ribbon, but you wouldn't normally put termination resistors on the parallel data pins. You'd normally only have it on the clocks. So I'm not going to go any further than this. I think this is a good wrap-up point either way. This is either going to work or not, and if it doesn't work, at least we've tried absolutely everything, and we've pretty much boiled this down to signal length and simply the console's ability to deal with high-speed connections. So we have to then keep the cable shorter. So here we go, last attempt. Either way, might as well pack me gear up, because it's either going to work or not. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, 13. Let's try a higher speed. And mind you, I could also try high resistors. I could try like I could swap them resistors out for like 500 ohm. Say I could just quickly tweak them resistors now they're in place. But let me flash a few different UDMAs for the sake of it, just in case now it running slow it is somehow causing issues, although I doubt it. So flash 3 and 4, and then we'll try 3 first. There we go. I could try 6 as well, I suppose, but usually, the faster the worse. And 13, is 13 usually your actual UDMA-ish? Ooh. Hey, we're getting somewhere. That's glitched differently. Yeah, maybe now. Maybe now it doesn't want to be run too slow if it's managing to strobe properly. Interesting. This is my own cable that I've made. So I've made brand new cables, and I've just put some termination resistors on the strobe pins. There we go. So let's just try them all. That's 2, 3, and 4. Let's try 5 and 6 for the sake of it.
And then if not, I'll quickly swap them resistors for between 300 and 500 ohm, give it one more go, and see where we get. And if not, like I say, the solution is shorter cable. No, 13. So last one is UDMA 6. And then I could also try the other hard drive, which is up there, just to see. Remove 5 and add 6. Afternoon, welcome in. We're just wrapping up again. I'm pretty sure you're doing most of the time just as we're wrapping things up. But I'll probably be back on tomorrow as well. And UDMA 6. No. Right, so last one is swapping them resistors out now for 300 ohm. No, let's go 400 ohm. This is where, like I say, if I put a where's my stream gone? If I put a potentiometer on, I could have tuned them. Oh yeah, I miss working on cars. I used to buy broken transporters and fix them up for the fun of it. Right, so we've got 90 ohm resistors on here at the minute on the 3 traces. I'm going to go straight to, I'm going to go 4. It's a bit extreme. Go 360. Again, I could be intelligent about this and actually use an oscilloscope and we can see the problem. But I'm not in the mood for that at the minute. I need to get these figured out the door, and then we can always come back to solve this solution. But like I said, there is another complete different solution that I had in mind for these that I haven't done yet, just due to time. But like I say, I don't want to give away details on it because I don't want somebody else doing. I used to just tell people what I was going to do with mods, but then that obviously in this day and age and the people around led to just people cloning what I'd, taking what I was going to do and rapidly trying to get to market with it, or taking the idea before I did it and giving no credit. So I'm not going to say the cool idea I've had for this a while ago, but when I get round to it, then I guess you'll see it. Somebody takes on to boot using SATA hard drive. It will do potentially because it'll be going through obviously the SATA to ID converter. So as we can see from this stream, there's a lot of problems with converting between ID and SATA as well. Oh, that might do a connector up there, didn't I? There we go. And then that will do us. So 3 termination resistors. Yeah, that's definitely right. Single trace, cool. And this is officially the last attempt at loading this. Like I say, hopefully this will work, but at least we've exhausted every possible variation now, scientifically as much as possible. Ooh, Rusty will be back as well. He's been a doggy daycare today. Just realised the time, so he's definitely going to be back.
Right then, last attempt. Secret mod for the Mega Drive. I've actually got to install one. I'm not looking forward to it because I still haven't bothered making the actual mod. Like, I haven't turned it into a physical mod, so I've got to hand wire a ton of stuff. So I'm kind of not looking forward to it, but I really do need to make it because quite a lot of people are interested in it. Yeah, that's not going to work. It's a shame. So it's not going to be. It's not going to be the reflection. It could just be the sheer length of the cable adding crosstalk. It could be as simple as that. But I don't think there's much we can do about crosstalk without, separating these cables, basically. Yeah, no problem. Glad you've all joined in. Be nice if it worked. But at least the whole point of this was to find the problem. So yeah, exactly the same. And just to prove it, so we don't end on a something isn't working note. Let's prove everything we know now. So we should have confidence to say all we have to do is take this connector out and plug in my other connector and everything will work. So we know with no change other than the length of the ribbon, which is what this is, we should be able to plug that in, plug this in, and everything boot fine. So everything we've learned today means this should work. If it doesn't, we just wasted 3 hours. But if it does, at least we've got a bit of confidence that we know it's just this cable run. Being too long is the only problem. So you watch this. This is where the whole video is pointless because everything fails, but no, this should work. And it will actually be interesting to find out how far or how fast we can take it with this setup. You dare not work. Come on, fan, kick in. Yeah, there we go. So that's loading. So at least we have some knowledge now. That's given me a bit more confidence and I know exactly what's going on and where the problem lies. And it's purely in the length of this cable and nothing else. So let's try and boost this to UDMA 6. I don't know whether it'll do that. I've never seen anything run at UDMA 6 yet myself. So let's see. And let's remove all the other BIOSes, get rid of all of them, and let's load in no DVD drive UDMA 6. Let's see if this loads. Is this the fastest possible speed? If that works, then that's the best possible outcome. But if not, you just run at UDMA 2. You've seen it loading the games and everything works anyway. Yeah, so UDMA 6 never works. Like I said, I've never seen that work yet. So let's drop it to UDMA 4 maybe. Yeah, no. So have you got a fully loaded 4 terabyte? Because this is where I say I've never seen anything run at UDMA 6 myself, no matter how many Xboxes I've done. Maybe it's like a different version of Xbox, different revisions, maybe different hard drives, but there's definitely finicky setups. Let's try UDMA 5. So maybe 5's working. Yep, so that's spinning up the hard drive. So UDMA 5 works, which is a plus. I've never seen a 5 work myself. I think 4 is the most I got. So let's just try this hard drive now. Let's try SSD, and we'll try the 6. But yeah, at least we've got knowledge and power now, which is more important than the fix right now, because we've got the confidence now. We know, plug this in, we know this works. Plug that in, we know it won't work. We've seen enough now that we know
Right, 6 on an SSD. We know that it's entirely down to this cable length, which is good for me because one of my products I'm going to make, that is a massive benefit. I kind of want to do it sooner. Yeah, so see, UDMA 6 doesn't work on this either, so nothing will make UDMA 6 work. But if it's what we think it is now, and we know it's the cable, if I put the hard drive in here, I bet UDMA 6 will work. And that again just simply proves that the length of the cable is affecting the speed. Because of, again, that boils down to signal integrity. So yeah, I bet this will probably launch at 6 being closer to. Yep, there you go. So UDMA 6 works. So everything about that is just purely based on the length of this cable, nothing else. Oop, knocked it. So that's UDMA 6 running close, but then you move it this far away and it no longer works. So yeah, I can't say any more because there's a lot relying on what I want to do with that fact on mods I'm making. But there we go. That's I think that's everything I needed to know. I know now there's no mystery around the Xbox. I know exactly what's causing it, and it was ultimately where I was kind of at the start anyway, as the solution was a shorter cable. But we've proven that hands down now. At least you've seen, well, I guess you've seen how I work as well, how I just prove things by swapping it about, getting theories based on that, and proving them over and over. The idea is you want to be able to say, if I do this, this, and this, this will happen, and know that it will. And that's where we're now at. We can confidently say, put this in, put that there, UDMA 6 works. Put this in, put that there, UDMA 2 works. Put the long cable in, nothing works. DVD drive doesn't matter. Disk drive doesn't matter. All those things we now know for sure, until I forget it all tomorrow when I've had a sleep. Right, I am going to get some food because I'm starving and I'm going to see Rusty. So I will catch you guys maybe tomorrow. Yeah, no problem. See you guys later.